Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. The football game aside, probably had a good weekend, didn't you? Come on. Let's do this together. Let's get right. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free always. If you miss anything, go back, get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the program. And when you go to iTunes, rate, review, share. Helps others find the show, I guess. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show, WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Let's get straight to it. Florida State falls again. It's getting old. They lose to Virginia in, I won't say heartbreaking fashion, when your expectations are as low as mine. For what I see every week, I don't get heartbroken by yet another loss. I figured I'd see about 8 or 9 of them this year, judging by the first 2 weeks. So, truthfully, the way I saw the game sitting in the stands was with somewhat, I think I guarded initially as it started, which turned into buoyed, which turned into downright almost confident at one point late in the third quarter. I'm watching this defense play the way that they had, all the while holding out the very real understanding that we don't do well in situations that require you to think a lot and handle pressure. So I knew the fourth quarter could be an undoing. Turned out that was the case, and it sucks, and I hate it, and Florida State has more talent than Virginia and lost. And so for all of that, I understand where the frustration sits, but I do not understand the somewhat shock and dismay of some of the fan base. We've been terrible for a long time. You can literally now say plural years. Awful last year, awful the year before, and again, not starting too hot this year. So these kinds of losses have been mounting. We're sub 500 in our last, 30 games. So it's not like losing is new. It's not something I like getting used to. It's not something that you can't be upset about or frustrated by, but you certainly can't be shocked by it. And I see a lot of people, could just be an online contingent, Tom. A lot of people shocked that Florida State continues to lose football games. They've got a culture problem they can't quite get right for many reasons. They're not terribly well coached. That's obvious. Haven't been in a while. And they're lacking in some areas, personnel-wise, that can only get righted as they get younger and as they continue to try to raise the floor of the talent at that position group via recruiting. So a lot of things, confluence of events, as I like to say, come together to add up to what you see. It's a poor product. They were better in some areas without question in this game. I thought if you were going to be encouraged by anything, it was their ability to hold up against the run. And they did that better, a lot better than they had against anybody so far this year, where they had just been an absolute nightmare and people were seemingly in perpetuity out of position. Whereas this time around, they played more physical. Guys did a better job of tackling than they have in the past. I thought the guys up front were playing much, much better than they had through the first 2 weeks. They were kind of gap sound, and they did a good job of collapsing and causing problems for, basically anything Virginia wanted to run between the tackles pretty much got shut down for a good bit of the game, giving yourself a chance to be in it in the fourth quarter and win it. We don't execute when you have to execute. We don't play smart when you have to play smart. We don't make winning plays when you have to make winning plays. These are all cliches. They happen to apply to us. They're true. We play undisciplined, unfocused, at times maddeningly arrogant football for a group that hasn't done anything to earn it. So, all of these things can be true, but you certainly can't be stunned. I saw a team that didn't quit, and what I mean by that is I thought they'd quit coming into the game. So I want to give you my mindset so you can understand that I'm not falling back on that going, hey, thanks for not quitting. No, I hate that. You don't get a lot of credit for not quitting. I hate when coaches say that. I don't like when fans say that. Hey, we didn't quit. Could have thrown in the towel. Nonsense. If you're a competitor, if you're on scholarship, if you reach this level of football, you didn't get there by quitting. So you don't get a lot of credit for not quitting. But it is something you have to gauge when things have gone poorly for the better part, for some of these guys, of 3.5 years. You begin to wonder, when do they check out? When are they going through the motions? And so you monitor it very, very closely. You also monitor it for the reason that you want to see whether or not a coaching staff still has their finger on the pulse, as I like to say. Are they still connecting with enough guys and convincing them to play hard and to buy in? Because if you lose that, then things like 2 and 10 are on the table and all that kind of stuff where you've got to make a change, maybe even in midseason, which you would never really want to do. All that kind of stuff is then at least being talked about, discussed behind the scenes when people openly quit on their coaching staff. So I went in with my radar up, concerned that that was something we could see after the ULM game, where obviously it was a win that felt an awful lot like a loss, and it was once again a situation where you couldn't get stops against the most meager of opponents. So went into this game, let's watch it. No, they were in. They were invested. I think it started rather smartly by suspending DJ Matthews. I was disappointed to hear that he was back practicing with the team today. He has been a deleterious influence on the locker room and on his teammates and on this program for some time now. So, to me, I don't know how many chances I'd want to give a guy. I get that you can't kick him off the team, in part because of the APR, and maybe more than in part because of the APR. But you don't have to play him. And so we'll see what they do moving forward. They didn't talk about playing him this week, but he was back with the team. You can do that. Levante Taylor responded nicely to being benched. I thought he might pack it in, but he came back and played hard and seemed to be reinvested. So the discipline angle, in terms of trying to clean up stuff behind the scenes, they need to do more of this. They need to do more of benching, leaving guys behind if it's a road game, sitting people, not starting guys. If you don't represent this program the way that you're supposed to and you're not invested either with the coaching staff or your teammates, then you don't play. And if you do get a second chance, that's the last.
You know, what's interesting to me is I think at least 90% of the guys who have been problems, like that have boiled to the surface for both the fan base and or the coaching staff to discipline them, have been single-digit players. just to point that out. I mean, think about it.
I think he forgot he said that. That, too, would be a problem, Tom.
7, 8, 1.
No, that, too, would be a problem because it's an inconsistent message. Yeah. Inconsistent messaging has been a big issue. It frustrates me. It frustrates you. And rightfully, the fan base takes notice when you are that kind of disorganized routinely and you don't follow through. You know, I've said this before. I'll say it again here. Perhaps what I'm most disappointed by up to this point is that there hasn't been consistency in messaging and discipline across the board that makes sense for the goal of changing the culture. Because we all acknowledged, even the most, ardent of Jimbo Fisher supporters would acknowledge that the end of his time here was an unmitigated disaster in which he turned his back, stopped recruiting, obviously look at the offensive line, didn't hold his coaching staff accountable, began to look, he had wandering eyes, couldn't wait to get the hell up out of here, had a really, really acrimonious relationship with the university and with the boosters. So knowing all that, you know that Willie Taggart walked in to a disaster. And it's his job to start to turn that around. With the APR scores being what they are, couldn't immediately do that. We've talked about it a lot. I set the table with that to say this. While all of that is true, you do have to identify those that are going to continue to further erode your culture and are not going to buy in. And you do have to find consistent messaging and then stick with a game plan to get this turned. And he hasn't done that. And so you still have these problems, discipline issues that rear their ugly head well into his second year. I get that with the APR you can't kick guys out, but you don't have to play them, and you don't have to give them 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 chances. You can say, look, it's time to get with the getting or sit your ass. I'm done here. And, when you start suspending guys or leaving guys back in the case of DJ Matthews this past weekend, that's a good sign. But, he's back at practice yesterday. Okay, fine. You can't kick him off the team because of those scores. I got you. But, man, he doesn't have to play a prominent role. He doesn't need to start. He doesn't need to be out there with any degree of consistency, if at all, because you do have to, no matter what you inherit, it's your task to flip it, to get it changed. And if you don't remain consistent with discipline and organization, this is what happens. Just sort of this, one week it's this guy, next week it's this guy, then it's this segment group, then it's this guy who's, whether it's an on-the-field repeated mistake after being told this can't happen over and over and over again, and then there we see it rear its ugly head late in the game with something critical on the line. The guy that's done it time and again is back out there to do it again. And then he'll say after the game, well, when you identify a player who's repeatedly making these mistakes, you can't put him out there. But then he's back the hell out there. So that I have a bigger problem with than anything else. I'll deal with perhaps this taking a little longer than we have the patience to stomach. What I don't want to deal with, and nobody should because that's not what leadership is for you to say something and then not follow up on it time and again. Because that's what leads to these meltdowns and the lack of discipline we talk about and the reverting back to almost an arrogant way of playing the game, almost as if you have, in your mind, the right to do so, having achieved nothing. It's bizarre to me that the kids play that way.
That's the way the defense plays, and the hard part is, you look at this game and the flow of it. We're the better team for how much of it? What portion of it? But we don't finish, and we never finish. It's even the ULM game. Did we finish, or did they miss an extra point?
They missed an extra point.
Right, exactly. And that's the hard part. It's always going to.
Virginia missed an extra point.
I know.
I'm laughing my ass off going, really? 2 weeks in a row this is going to happen?
Mm-hmm. We're going to be the Miss PAT team. That gets us to 2-1.
But alas.
It was not to be. It was not to be. That 2-point play says it all. The frustrating thing for me
Take your time, young man.
is the game played out the way I thought it would play out. The way I thought Virginia's defense was a little slow to the ball. I think there would be some things that would be wide open. We're faster at receiver than they are at DB.
There were some things wide open.
And they don't react to tempo all that well, and they can get gashed between the guards for some big plays, and they did, and Kendall set some nice things up. TOP is a problem, but still, I'd trade the TOP the way it was for the fact that we schemed things wide the hell open to close the game out. We had wide open things to close the game out, and we didn't do it. So, on the one hand, you got the defense that gives up 200 and some odd yards in the final 3 drives and 21 points, or 22, excuse me. On the other hand, you got James who can ice the game for you. He's the closer, ball's in his hand, and he can win the game for you.
Yeah, but he's not good enough.
And I'm not talking about the Terry throw. I'm talking about the 3rd and 6 to McKitty.
No, but I'm talking about the Terry throw, the McKitty throw. There's 2 throws in the first half that he's got guys wide open that he misses. He's late on balls. He misses a play. He never even sees it because he goes to the other side of the field. They had schemed a play on the left side to his left side that's wide open. There's 21 points left on the field, bare minimum, hundreds of yards. He's an average quarterback. So that's what you're identifying there. We knew that. In this case, it really hurt us because you play a close game and you're leaving some points out on the board there. And you're right. Listen, big picture, we have these conversations. When you adapt this offense, there are some negatives to it. We've seen this before. We've watched it from afar. Any of the schools that run this, any of his previous locations that run this, you suffer on the defensive end because you either score really quickly or you go 3 and out. It's boom or bust, as we've talked about before with this offense most of the time. And when you're running tempo and you're scoring, that's great. We all get excited about touchdowns, but we forget the fact that in those moments, your defense is right back on the field. And it's tough to ask them, I think, in the fourth quarter of a game in which time of possession is that skewed time and again, to bow up and consistently make stops or expect them to. We ask them to, but to expect them to can occasionally be unreasonable. Now, that said, the idea being that if you execute all the plays that are there for you, schemed by the tempo and the speed in which you play, obviously, then it may not matter that you're going to give up 24 to 28 points a game defensively because they get tired. Because you're going to score 45 to 55.
Right.
And so I get it. You commit to it. But when you don't, when you leave plays on the field and you only score 24 points, you're in real danger of losing football games to almost anybody because your defense is winded because they are on the field constantly. And, I had a guy email me and say, I don't understand why Kendall, and he's done it more than once. He did it at the end of the first half against Boise. He's done it before, and I've criticized it, and he agreed with me. But his point was, why does he always do that? Well, that's the offense. That's the offense. He's not going to slow things down. The reason we're able to move the ball efficiently in stretches of a time is because we have a defense on their heels because we're playing fast. They don't have many plays in this offense. You're not out scheming somebody. Nobody's, you know what I mean. I'm not trying to.
You're outpacing them.
You're outpacing them. They're worn down. They're 2 yards out of position here. They're one guy not lined up here. There's an opening here because they didn't get right and get set. So it is about that. You get them on their heels, and it's now.
Forcing them to make a choice and make the wrong one.
Right. You put them in conflict.
Tamorrion Terry's wide open down the middle or the sideline. Yeah.
Sure. But you got to execute that play. And so this is why in the offseason and during camp, certainly, there had been discussions of this being a quarterback battle. And we rolled our eyes because anybody that had seen Alex Hornibrook play quarterback at Wisconsin didn't come away very impressed. He's got limitations with his arm strength, that's for sure. And he's not as good an athlete. So when you saw him, you kind of went, I don't know what he's going to provide besides quality depth. Besides experience in depth. So you didn't mind the move to bring him in, but you didn't think he was a real factor in the competition. But based on what I'm seeing with James, and again, a little bit I defend him because he's having to learn yet another offense, and that's all he's done since he's been here is having to learn new offenses.
Well, in the middle of this game, too, he played quite well, and he made a few plays where I don't know that Hornibrook would be capable because he's creating extra time.
Sure.
He's agile.
Well, and he had better arm strength in the middle of the field.
Right,
Yeah. No, there's either way, you're going to give something up. But I would think, again, if you are leaving a lot of points and yards on the field and your defense is not equipped to hold people to, say, under 24 points, because they're going to be out there a lot. At some point, there's a distinct possibility that you make a change. Now, I'm not advocating for it today, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kendall Briles is looking into it and thinking to himself, especially because he gets to look at the all-22s. I practically was in that position on Saturday night from where I was sitting on the second deck on the 50-yard line and watching plays develop. I could see a lot. I don't know if TV showed all of this, but I could see where there are a lot of things that are open there that James either doesn't see, makes the wrong decision, has already predetermined. If Briles is seeing even more than I'm seeing when he's going back and looking at that film, that's going to eat at him because that's his offense. That's his baby.
Well, I think the most dangerous thing is for the first time, personally for me at least, I see James shrink in the moment. I mean, that's a simple throw on third down. It's a simple throw up the sideline to Tamorrion Terry. And I know the second one is to tie the game and not ice the game away.
Wide the hell open.
But it's wide open, and you got to make both of those are wide open. And if you look at the first play of the final drive, the exchange is fumbled. James thankfully recovers it. He gets a yard out of it.
He was rattled.
He was rattled. And if I'm Kendall, I write that in my notes and I say, ooh, I got to be prepared for this. Personally, as a fan, I didn't expect James to be rattled in that situation because all he's faced is adversity. But it finally got to him this time. And so moving forward, you got to have your rabbit ears up for that as a fan. That is he going to be able to handle the moment? He's been one of the strong ones, but he had a weak moment on Saturday night.
Real quick, played better against the run. Special teams is a lot better. Our backup punter, I'm starting to love that kid. Good for him. End up being our permanent
great story.
Punter. It is a great story. Ricky with another big field goal in the situation, and it's money. He looks good so far this year. Really feeling a bit more confident about him. The offense is better. The offensive line is better. Not great, not going to be great. Never thought it could be, but it's not terrible.
Between Thursday as a Buck fan and Saturday night, how about punt returners muffing the ball, and we don't get 4 of them. 2 chances in each game.
I know.
That hurt. That could have flipped it a little bit.
But there are little things here, and I know after a loss, nobody wants to hear that, but I was looking for something to give you a measure of hope as we move forward. And I saw a few things that would. On the flip side of my gripes here and my analysis here is the idea that, we played better in spots for long stretches at a time. We showed a commitment, to shutting down the run and to caring and playing with passion. And for a while there, really intelligently did so. Now, late, we come unhinged and make all kinds of really foolish decisions, some of which hurt you, some don't. Also, the one on Coop is not a penalty. That ref can go to hell. It's almost as if he has never watched somebody try to, you can't shift momentum when you're 340 pounds and you're slinging a guy to the ground. What are we talking about?
He's in the process of doing it when the whistle starts in the first place.
It's the dumbest thing.
It's not like 1 tick, 2 ticks, and he tosses them.
This is football in today's era where both in the pro and in college, anything that looks violent, anything that seems even close to the edge is flagged. And, unfortunately, we've gone well past that line in our efforts to secure safety. It's a violent game. You can't protect everybody in a violent game. Just don't play football if you're afraid of getting hit or getting hit right up at the whistle, because that's the game, man.
I know one of the guys is not playing the same position as the other two, and you can even throw Emmett Rice in there with Dontavius and Lars Woodby. But if I'm Levitt, that's the first place and maybe the only place I go all week long, other than scheming, the game plan, like the big picture thing. If I'm going micro, I mean, each player has 5 or 6 plays again where inexplicably they're in the wrong place, they make the wrong decision, they see it in front of them, and they run the wrong direction, whatever it is.
The 2-point conversion, buddy. You brought it up a moment ago. We could do 3 hours. We could do 3 hours on the kind of lunacy I'm watching on that 2-point conversion, but it really did crescendo with my man Dontavius Jackson once again making really the kind of decision that leaves one stupefied. What are you doing? Tackle the ball carrier. Why are you hitting this random Joe out in front? It's you and the ball carrier.
That play is a perfect 8 to 10 second definition of where we've been for the last 3 years. That play. Everything about it is what we've lived for a long time.
The weird thing is I can get when somebody's confused or they're being put in a position where they're asked to do something their skill set doesn't allow them to do, and so they get exposed. Like if you put a guy who's not a good cover corner or a good cover linebacker or cover safety, and he's asked to cover somebody in the slot, the fastest guy on the field, and you're like, well, he's going to fail. I'll live with that. I don't yell at that guy. I mean, that's just wrong. That's dumb coaching. Don't do that. Don't put that guy at that position. That's good luck with that. I got 250-pound linebacker trying to cover, Darren Sproles out of the backfield on a wheel route or something. I'm like,
that doesn't happen in this defense.
I was gonna say,
not at all.
That's not going to work out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
You need somebody else there. But so you can see things sometimes in which failure occurs, or you lose the play, you lose the down, whatever it might be, ends up in a big play, and you immediately tend to kind of look at the numbers and look at the players and say, well, why can't they do that? It's not always those guys. It's a lot of times it's scheme, but when it's the decision making we see from Dontavius more than anybody, I don't know what to do.
Corners came up and hit this weekend.
I don't know what to do in that situation. I'm like, but man, what are we doing here? Like, would you not slow that down in super slow motion in film room and be like,
why not go for the back pylon while you're at it?
What are we doing here? Like, look at you here. What are you doing? Just tell me. I want to know. I'm not even chiding you. What are you doing here? This doesn't resemble anything any rational thinking human being would do in this situation if you wanted to succeed on the play.
Did you feel like I did? Because before that play is run at Hangar 38, we were watching, and it was a great atmosphere. I really recommend people come out. I know the watch parties aren't going to be like, the most optimistic place in the world.
You need some distractions.
But it's a lot of fun, and everybody had a great attitude on Saturday, and they did a first-class job of hosting the watch party. But did you feel like I did, which was, man, if we get a stop here, we're going to win this football game?
Yeah.
We're going to go down the field, score, and win this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there were 3 or 4 moments where I thought we're about to put this thing on ice.
But even
Virginia's in trouble.
Even trailing in that moment, they had scored the touchdown. Mm-hmm. I feel like if we stop them on the 2, we're going to go down the field and win the ball game.
Well,
as bad as that fourth quarter was.
Maybe. I don't know if I was as confident there. I still felt good. When they tied it up, I felt good. I knew we'd go back down, and we did.
Because when you can only tie the game reasonably, I don't think Willie says, all right, guys, when we go down there, we're going for 2. I doubt that was the message. No. It's a different feeling. It's more deflating, and frankly, we shouldn't have been in that position but for at least one ridiculous call that went against Virginia, and we forget about that pass.
Oh, you're talking about the
roughing the passer call.
Well, the end of the game, I'm actually probably in the minority of Florida State fans here. I thought they screwed Virginia on the interference call. I wouldn't have called it in that situation. I don't think it was egregious enough. I thought he played the ball well enough. I would not have bothered with that call, so we got a gift there, in my opinion. I understood why Bronco Mendenhall would have been irate by that call because it ends the game. And I also think if you're an official – you cannot have rabbit ears in a situation where you make a bang-bang controversial call that's going to cost the man the game. If he drops some F-bombs, which I'm sure he did, man, walk away. What are you doing?
Well, wasn't he past the numbers? At least on TV, it looked like he was basically at midfield.
Well, they threw the flag on him there, unsportsmanlike. I like my officials to not be so sensitive in that situation. You got to understand the situation. Anyhow, I was happy it benefited us, but that certainly wasn't roughing the passer. If you leap to make a play and you happen to barely.
Reggie Miller looks at that and says,
come on.
That's a pretty weak play.
That may not even be a foul in basketball. What are we doing? I hate the way they officiate games anymore. Again, it's a violent game.
Yeah. We
got to stop this.
Yeah, the Cooper one was tough, too.
Well, it's a terrible call.
And you knew they were going to throw the flag there.
Oh, the whole world did. We all did, but it's not. Again,
we got one on a late hit, too. It's correct. The call's correct when we're on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's just they're almost ready for it. They can't wait.
Oh, it's like anything that's remotely close, man. They side with throwing the flag, and they've been mandated to do it. They've been in both levels. They've been mandated to do it, and I can't say what I want to say, but football's a tough game, man.
It is a tough game.
You got to buck up, soldier.
It's also tough when you lose again. Second half or a fourth quarter forget.
I've almost paddled on to the bottom of the hour here, 30 minutes of radio to
we'll
start
lead
the
with
show.
SportsCenter at this
but
break.
there you go. But let me just say this. I haven't even touched on the final play, and I will do that when we get back and kind of get into some of the other side items there. But it's, to me, again, I want one last thing. The part of the fan base that becomes unhinged after these losses, as if they're confounded that we lost again, I don't get. Have you watched us play? Like at all this year, all of last year, all of the year before, back half of the year prior? I mean, if you have, these things don't. You might be mad. I'm mad. I'm fed up. I'm frustrated. I'm saddened. It's bad for the university. It's bad for the other athletic programs within the university. It's bad for the community, bad for the city, bad for our businesses. It sucks. It sucks across the board. But I'm not shocked. I mean, they haven't turned the corner. And the bet is that they will. Most of the fan base is probably on the side of no way in hell this group turns the corner, this staff turns the corner, we need somebody anew. Perhaps you're right. I'd say this. The financial crunch they find themselves in, it ain't happening in season, first of all, and that wouldn't make much sense to begin with. And secondly, I'm not real sure that they're in a position to be able to do it even if they wanted.
You need a McElwain shark moment.
I mean, you would need something
or the
absurd.
death threat, that's what it was. It was
where you just made up a thing and they called you on it. Yeah, you would have to have a for-cause situation where you were able to find something. But, I mean, no, they're not going to do it.
Here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Late in the second quarter in the loss to Seattle, 0-2 Pittsburgh now moves on with backup Mason Rudolph taking over. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Breeze is expected to soon undergo thumb surgery and miss about 6 weeks. Without Breeze, New Orleans' shot at another Lombardi trophy likely over, in the opinion of ESPN's Ryan Clark.
Without Drew Brees, you lose that leadership, but you also lose the productivity that this guy has given you year after year after year. For the Saints, you go from a Super Bowl contender to a team that will struggle to win and get into the playoffs.
Breeze, to this point, has missed only one start because of injury since high school. Before this injury, Caesars Sportsbook had the Saints at 8-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, with Breeze likely to miss multiple games. The odds now 25-1. The Saints' backup is Teddy Bridgewater. Their third QB is Taysom Hill. Tonight, Browns and Jets face off on Monday Night Football for the first time since the very first ever ABC Monday Night Football game in 1970. In that game, the Browns never trailed to Joe Namath's Jets and won 31-21. Coverage tonight begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Baseball, Steven Strasburg seeks his Major League lead tying 18th win of the season when he and the Nationals visit the Cardinals. St. Louis leads the NL Central by 2 on the Cubs. Washington's got a 1.5 game lead on Chicago for the first NL wildcard spot. Virginia announced a one-year extension for basketball coach Tony Bennett. He said he declined a raise and asked for money to be used to pay his staff more and for improvements to both his program and other Virginia teams.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Can you hear it? There's no better tradition in all of sports than 80,000 Noles doing the war chant. Now is your chance to be a part of that. Single game tickets are on sale now as the Noles take on Louisville Saturday, September 21st inside Doak Campbell Stadium. Don't get left out of the best tradition in all of sports. Purchase your tickets today to see Florida State football live in person. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Hardee's new Monster Roast Beef Sandwich is stacked with slow-cooked roast beef, slices of crispy applewood smoked bacon, all covered in layers of melted cheese. This tasty triple threat is kind of like an epic no-hands backflip on a wild Mustang while spearing a great white shark. How you got a wild horse out in the middle of the ocean isn't important. What's important is that the new Monster Roast Beef Combo with fries and a Dr. Pepper is only available at Hardee's.
Available for limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
Come on, pick me!
Yoo-hoo! Pick me! Pick me!
No, pick me!
Take your pick with the Florida Lottery Pick Daily Games. With Pick 2, Pick 3, Pick 4, and Pick 5, you could win top prizes from $50 to $50,000. And you have 2 chances to win every day. The Pick Daily Games from the Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Football season is here, and you know what that means. Time to get together with friends over an ice-cold drink and some great food. What better place than Fire Betty's and Fox and Stag? They're expanding their food menus and would love for you to come over and give them a try, along with a unique craft cocktail or cold beer. Follow Fire Betty's, Fox and Stag on Instagram or Facebook for daily food and drink specials, as well as special events. Fox and Stag and Fire Betty's, located at the Manor in Midtown, serving food and drinks 6 days a week.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
Hendrick.
Don't miss the kickoff to savings at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. 2019 GMC Sierra 1500s up to $13,000 off. We are professional grade. DaleJuniorGMC.com. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin chart. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature Which, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Brees gone for up to 6 weeks. Not good news for Saints fans, obviously. Suddenly that division, and I would never wish for Drew Brees to be hurt, but tough game. Things happen.
Yo ho,
Things happen, and he's going to miss some time. And, Bucs fresh off a big-time road win against the Carolina Panthers. And Cam looking like he's losing it on and off the field. Certainly could benefit the Bucs greatly. Then you've got, obviously a Falcons team that's a little shaky.
I believe in Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I believe in Todd Bowles' defense and how that thing has flipped. And then Jameis played really smart on the road. Second quarter on, really, especially. They did some things right there, and they end up getting a big goal line stand. They win. A weird weekend, though, because you do lose two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'm not losing sleep over Ben Roethlisberger, but he, too, is gone now for the year with the elbow. I think the highlights of what we saw yesterday, I don't know that you really got too many of them. It was an ugly day. I mean, the endings of the Denver-Chicago game and maybe even the Seattle-Pittsburgh game and a couple of others.
Philly-Atlanta last night was a really good ending.
Good ending, bad game.
Boring as hell first 3 quarters.
Yeah, so, it is an up-and-down ride. Unless you're a Dolphins fan, then it's just one speed. You're going to go ahead and go 0-16 and get your head kicked in every week, and that's that.
You're the tractor on the one-lane road that everybody's pissed off at.
Well, the year the Lions went 0-16 and removed the Bucs from the record books, which was nice, because the Bucs, of course, didn't go 0-16. They went 0-14.
That's correct.
But when the Lions did that, I remember being thankful to that sorry-ass organization for being so sorry-ass. And now the Dolphins, who have had the only undefeated season in NFL history, can add to the ledger a winless season as they go 0-16 because they're committed to it, Tom, very committed to it. You can't get beat 59-10 and 43-0 in the NFL in back-to-back weeks. Doesn't happen. It's absurd.
It is. I'm sorry, sir. All I can think about is Ndamukong Suh is invested and Vita Vea looks healthy and the corners are flying to the ball. I like watching defensive football. One of my teams plays defensive football that I can get behind.
Plays so fast and so confident and come downhill. They've got some weaknesses. They'll get exposed for those weaknesses at various points this year. The truth of the matter is, though, that's a good example of how you can take a group that's lacking in areas, coach to their talents, to their abilities, put them in positions to succeed, and then unleash them. Let's go. Play fast, play hard. This is what we do. And they've instilled it. Those guys believe in it. And so when you see them playing fast, that's all born out of confidence and understanding. They don't have to think too much. They know what they're doing. They know what their assignments are, and they play fast and violent, and it's fun to watch. You check that to compare that to what we see from Florida State's defense, which was better on this particular night until the fourth quarter, and you can see the difference. I mean, it really does help, obviously, to have guys be confident in what they're running, to know that you can trust it, trust the guy next to you who's going to play assignment football. He's going to be where he has to be. I mean, defense is so dependent on the guy next to you and the belief that he's going to sacrifice just like he trusts you to sacrifice so a play can be shut down. If you've got to string it out, string it out. You can't cut inside. Keep that outside shoulder free. Let's go. We know that. If your job is to fill this gap in a run fit, then you got to fill that gap even if it sucks. Even if you have to take on a fullback who's going to knock your head in, that's okay. Somebody else is coming in to clean up. It is 2nd and 7. It's not 1st and 10. This is what the sacrifice is, and you see it from good defenses. You don't from bad. And obviously, we don't play a good brand of defense around here. It is certainly what was certainly on Saturday night better, but not
one
where it
thing
needs to be.
I noticed, and I know TOP, time of possession, is one of the reasons that we collapsed late. How can it not be when you have 2 games out of 3 and it's 40-plus minutes that you're on the field? But one thing I did notice is that Kendall did take more time in certain situations. To go back, and then the offense looks over to the sideline and he makes a check as the play clock is running down inside of 15, inside of 10. I think it's notable that it's happened because it really hadn't. It looked like we were trying to get the ball out with 25 to 30 seconds left in the play clock in most circumstances up to that point. There are little wrinkles being added in. I mean, if you look at the LeBourne run up the right-hand side, they had set that up a couple of plays earlier with the same action. And I bet Virginia thinks, all right, well, they got to give it to Trayshawn eventually. And we didn't. But there's a ton of stuff throughout the game that dude sets up and he comes right back to. He sets those pieces up on the board exactly the way he wants to. That gives me a lot of hope if he's going to be here for any length of time.
Yeah, listen, there's no questioning his expertise within the realm of what he does, what they run, what he teaches, how he coaches it, and the way he calls it. He schemes a lot of things wide open. Our quarterback doesn't see it. It's hard as a fan because what you end up having to watch for and understand is that you're going to give up points. And that the new way to judge good defense is, again, points per possession, yards per play, that kind of thing, because they're going to get more at-bats, as they say. They're going to wear down in that fourth quarter. But if you're scoring 48 points a game, you're going to be all right. If you're scoring 38 points a game, you're going to be all right. But when you leave points on the field, the way they did again on Saturday night with this offense, you're going to be in trouble because they're going to go on the field and get off the field very quickly. They score quickly. They also have, when they fail, oftentimes it's a quick failure because they lose first down, clock stops. Next thing you know, they're behind the chains. They're off the field. Defense is right back out there. So, again, I need James not to miss on those plays where guys are wide open, schemed wide open. You cannot miss those plays.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting, too, that here we are through 3 weeks. We are 1-2 on the season, and the offensive line would be third or fourth in the pecking order of our complaints.
Yeah,
they didn't play well on Saturday, don't get me wrong, but they're not at the top of the list.
No, because here's the thing. When you win first down, and they're winning a lot of first downs right now, and by winning, I mean not going backwards. It's 2nd and 8, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. They're having, especially between the tackles, they're having some success running the football there, and that opens everything else to the tempo that you want to do. When they lose first down, obviously the offensive line gets behind the chains, and then they're not, for lack of a better term, and to be blunt, they're not talented enough. So now teams know what's coming. They dial it up. And our guys lack technique, footwork, speed, athleticism to deal with that.
And I think it's also, you're just going to have to assume that we will slump every week at some point for 3 or 4 series in a row, 4 out of 5 series, whatever it is. Late first quarter, early second quarter, you see a lot of long developing runs. Reminds me of Syracuse, the play calling against Syracuse, but we finally adjusted out of it. But it's just, I think it's the very nature of this offense. Like the drive that culminates in the Keyshawn Helton touchdown. It's a big play over the middle to Terry. Then you get McKitty immediately, and then you get Keyshawn Helton. It's like that. Those are going to come in bunches, and I think the dry spells are going to come in bunches, and you just got to be prepared for that.
One of the things that I think, if I were going to be critical of what I've seen up to this point offensively, and obviously they've improved greatly in that area, sometimes I get the sense almost through his own bemusement that Kendall is exploring.
The back-to-back screenplays to the outside, is that what you're talking?
Yeah,
yes, that's the worst moment of the game.
Yeah, but he's just exploring. He's kind of like, well, let's see. Let's poke a hole over here. Well, it doesn't work. Let's poke over here. Let's see if that works. No. Ooh, there's a soft spot right here. We can keep poking. We keep doing this. And they're like, oh, let's poke over here. Sometimes I'm like, stop poking over there. That soft spot's right there. Go right there. They're not stopping.
You mean like quick hitters with Cam up the middle?
They're not stopping it. Keep doing that.
Like the quick hitters.
Yeah. Just let's go there. You don't have to.
The second screen was absurd. That call. That's the one to Helton.
I'm still mad.
The first one, McKitty finds a way to screw up twice in that play. Where they have 2 for 2 on the outside. It's going to be a decent gain. Mm-hmm. It's going to be exactly what he wants with a chance for a splash. That's what so many of these plays are.
Yeah.
They're going to be at least a decent amount of yards, but if you can make a man miss in space, it's a lot of yards. See Julio Jones last night in that clinching touchdown for Atlanta. That is a nifty play, Dirk Cutter. You got Jake Matthews out there in space. That is nifty.
Hey, I gotta say, I wonder, and I don't know, and I enjoyed talking to Tamorrion Terry before the season began, and he certainly seemed to be willing to ride and die with James Blackman. And I know the players respect him and like him, but I don't know how many more times he's going to be running wide open down the field and have my man miss him by 10 yards. See if that relationship remains as close as it is currently.
Well, does he equate blocking with having James Blackman's back?
I know. He's got to block better, but
that was that second screen call.
That's a touchdown over there on that one.
Olay.
Yeah, and on the last play of the game, he doesn't know what he's doing either. That's bizarre.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Live today, backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hendrick. Down, set, save. It's the kickoff to savings at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. New management, new buying experience. Now's your chance to score huge savings on a new Chevy, like the tailgate-ready 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Find new roads to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy before the clock runs down, or shop DaleJr.Chevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
A Sport Clips Championship haircut experience makes you feel like your hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Or maybe your sport is keeping up with your kids. Your hair deserves its own walk-up music, and at Sport Clips, we make it easy. A game-changing cut from a stylist trained for guys while you're surrounded by sports. Hair this good needs no introduction, but you'll want one anyway. So download the app, check in, and get your hair in the game.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. I was waiting to try to confirm this, and I'm still looking here. It does look indeed like this is, in fact, accurate, and I hate that it is accurate. But our thoughts and well wishes certainly go out to Phil Kofer, who apparently has lost his mom now. Of course, we remember he lost his dad there at the end of the season. Now, in a short period of time, less than 6 months, he's lost his mom too. Other than to say I'm thinking of you and to wish you the best, there's nothing. Words would escape anyone here. I don't know what to tell you other than we send you our love. That is, it's awful.
Yeah, when you mentioned that about 20 minutes ago, that's what you were hearing, it's silence.
Well, there's nothing to say. There's no words can't change anything there. That's just an awful situation.
It's something I don't understand, and we all have the fears of tomorrow, and man, my thoughts are with you, Phil, and I think a lot of Noel fans, maybe the entirety of Tallahassee, right?
Well, and non-Noel fans, anybody that watched that young man and the integrity with which he worked and played and cared and gave, and obviously just as a fellow human being, to know that he's going through that kind of pain and loss back-to-back like that is it's brutal. And so, we wish him well. That's it's terrible to hear. Hate it. So, and I didn't want to say anything on the air unless I knew, but yeah, so it's happened. So. Thinking of you, Phil Kofer. No good way to forward a segment here. And so I knew it was a short segment. Figured I'd just make mention.
Okay, so to be cold, I guess, and move on. Do you think we gave Cam the ball enough? Was he involved enough?
No, I would have given him the ball more, although I did go back and look at the number of runs in general. I see what they're trying to do with LeBourne here, but
And he hit on a couple.
He did.
He made a play on a catch, too, that didn't have any chance, and he made whatever it was, 4-6 yards out of it.
Total number of runs isn't the problem. If you look at just the runs, I actually think the number of runs are pretty good. I always have to go back and double check to see how many of the yards are taken off with sack totals and that kind of a thing. So it can skew you. If you can skew it, if you look at yards per carry, it wasn't great in this game compared to some of the others. Obviously, the first two.
Cam's was okay.
Was okay, but not as good as it needs to be.
Just a few of those runs were, again, like the slow developing, left-to-right runs rather than straight ahead. And I think what we do, at least you could say it through 3 games, the evidence is clear. Between the guards, right at you, and now. Cam has been quite good and has been in a great rhythm this season, something that we sorely missed last year. Didn't get a chance to see it at all.
Well, and if you just want to stay down that path, there are some guys. We spend a lot of times documenting the areas that are weak or the areas of grave concern or the problems off the field with the coaching staff and all the other things that lead to a 1-2 start to a season and another season that looks like it's on the brink of being irrelevant for the 3rd year in a row. Sometimes along the way there, you'll forget there are some guys playing pretty well. McKinney's having a better year, all in all. Not great, but
missed
better.
Some blocks, but pass catching wise,
but he's better than he was. Cam is obviously the big guy here, and when you're circling the MVP on the offense, he's been he's been everything that he was his first year, late in the season when he began to figure it out, and everything he was promised when he got here.
Good to see Neighbors rewarded. That's a nice
really?
play.
And I like him.
That
too.
ball had to get out a little sooner.
Yeah.
But he got there just in the nick of time.
Yeah. No, we're pretty solid at tight end, and obviously can't say enough about Cam.
There's a play on what you're talking about, some of the misreads. There's a run that if you let Cam have the ball, I mean, it's a convoy, and Cam McDonald was one of the people that's getting up the field, which is why when you said tight ends, I'm like, that one play where McDonald.
We've got some guys now. I mean,
yeah.
We had better players than Virginia, and we lost to them. That hurt your feelings.
A little bit.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
People always appreciate it when you deliver on a promise and go the extra mile. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, our team would treat you like you would want to be treated. Zero interest financing and low monthly payments are available when you're approved for the Carrier credit card. Apply at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
5 Hour Energy wants to send you to Nashville. Go backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, see the Country Music Hall of Fame, and meet Dierks Bentley in person. Just buy any 5 Hour Energy product, snap a picture of your receipt, and visit 5hecountry.com to enter. You could be on your way to some hot country nights in Music City. Sweepstakes ends October 31st, 2019. Must be U.S. resident age 18 or older to enter. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hewin.com. Void where prohibited. Sponsored by Living Essentials, LLC.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello, Eddie. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I guess we got to do this commercial.
Time for the bantering to begin.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I want something different now.
You don't want to banter anymore.
I enjoy the banter. I do. But I want theme music, Jeff. Gordo's needs theme music.
Gordo's, the restaurant, the delicious food and the people and the atmosphere. Gordo's, not you personally, but Gordo's.
Yes,
I like
Gordo's, not me. I mean, of course, I would love to have people following me around playing music all the time.
Especially at Gordo's.
It's always in my head. But I need something for Gordo's. I need to have something special, something that, you know, heck, the King of the Hill has his own theme music. The Kids in the Hall. Why not me? Why not Gordo's?
Why not Gordo's? All right, I guess I'm going to be looking for some theme music.
You mean you're going to have Tom looking for some theme music?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, get on it, Tommy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Escúchame, y dice Dan Le Batallón on ESPN Radio.
Delaney Walker, who's in the other locker room, okay, he did his interview shirtless because Billy was in here after seeing him on television. Delaney Walker's neck should have its own government and area code, okay? He weighs 250 pounds, and 240 of it is his neck. And Billy was saying, because he's wearing one of these gold chokers, Billy's saying that chain probably goes down to my navel because Delaney Walker...
Things a hula hoop for me.
Delaney Walker is one of those guys. Chris, we were talking about how, when we were talking the other day about how these guys are killing machines who are using all of science and technology to just basically sculpt their muscle into granite, I was thinking of Delaney Walker. He's only 250 pounds only, but it's all rocks.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the season is over for Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, while Saints QB Drew Brees will likely be sidelined several weeks. Roethlisberger will have season-ending surgery this week on his right elbow. He sustained the non-contact injury late in the second quarter in the loss to Seattle. 0-2 Pittsburgh now moves on with backup Mason Rudolph taking over. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Brees is expected to soon undergo thumb surgery and miss about 6 weeks. Without Brees, New Orleans' shot at another Lombardi trophy likely over, in the opinion of ESPN's Ryan Clark.
Without Drew Brees, you lose that leadership, but you also lose the productivity that this guy has given you year after year after year. For the Saints, you go from a Super Bowl contender to a team that will struggle to win and get into the playoffs.
Brees, to this point, has missed only one start because of injury since high school. Before this injury, Caesars Sportsbook had the Saints at 8-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, with Brees likely to miss multiple games. The odds now 25-1. The Saints' backup is Teddy Bridgewater. Their third QB is Taysom Hill. Tonight, Browns and Jets face off on Monday Night Football for the first time since the very first ever ABC Monday Night Football game in 1970. In that game, the Browns never trailed to Joe Namath's Jets and won 31-21. Coverage tonight begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Baseball, Steven Strasburg seeks his Major League lead tying 18th win of the season when he and the Nationals visit the Cardinals. St. Louis leads the NL Central by 2 on the Cubs. Washington's got a 1.5 lead on Chicago for the first NL wildcard spot. Virginia announced a 1-year extension for basketball coach Tony Bennett. He said he declined a raise and asked for money to be used to pay his staff more and for improvements to both his program and other Virginia teams.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom, online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Go there, listen live. Miss portions of the show, I understand. Get caught up on iTunes. Rate, review while you're there on iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast, and you'll get the show every day. You can email us if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And as always, hello to you YouTubers and Periscopers that watch us perform our radio duties. Also, as always, we bring in our friend Ira Schfel, warchant.com on Mondays. He's here now. Hello, Ira. How are you, buddy?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm well, sir. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you in Charlottesville. I know yours was a quick trip, and how were you treated?
It was good, man. I kind of regretted not doing a little bit more while I was up there. A lot of times we go on the road, try to take in some of the sites or do something, but it was much more of a kind of a business trip, and but everything else went fine. Just except maybe the last fourth quarter of the football game.
Yeah, so you got to watch that from the press box. I watched it from the stands. The result the same. Your thoughts on what you saw, articulated well on warchant.com. A couple articles pinned by you for those that want to go back and catch up. Let's start with judging FSU football under Taggart. Not a cut and dry case, as you wrote on Warchant. So we've heard from him today, Coach Taggart, that is. You've had about, a good 20 hours or so since writing that. Your thoughts, anything evolved from there? Or you're still sort of the mindset that right now they're in this little kind of in limbo space?
Yeah, I mean, I was really conflicted in a lot of ways. Immediately after the game, I kind of felt like, okay, there's some here you go again. Some common things that they're still not doing well, and some common areas. Failure, and from that standpoint, you say, okay, well, you can't have the same things beating you week to week to week. The mistakes, the not looking organized in crucial situations, the personal fouls, the penalties, things like that. On the flip side, as I started to write, I just kind of felt like I couldn't go there. I kind of felt like, I felt like I was moving the goalpost a little bit, because going into that game, I really did not expect them to play well. I did not, and I've been pointing to that game for really all season as a game where I think that's going to be a really tough. No matter what happened in the first two games, that was going to be a really tough ask for this football team. Their first road game against a good team with a great quarterback, great college quarterback, and the days before the game, I thought they were going to lose by 10, 14 points. I thought everybody should have been putting their mortgages on the Cavs to cover. And then when it comes down to being basically a kind of a bit of a coin flip game where you actually had a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter, it felt disingenuous to then turn around and rip them. So, I'm really conflicted. I think you have to point out that there are some consistent problems, but I think it's also unfair to not acknowledge that there has been a lot of progress. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of just conflicted with, how to evaluate this team right now.
Yeah, I walked away from the game shocked that it was close. I did go into the game expecting. We do a show together, not just Seminole Headlines, but also the War Chant Report, and we talk every Monday here. So obviously you and I have talked a lot about that game, this team, and the good, the bad, and everything in between. And so, I thought they were going to get blown out as well, and was pleasantly surprised that there they were with the lead and opportunity to win it. Not shocked that they didn't win it because of some of the aforementioned problems that they consistently reveal time and again, especially in crisis. So on the one hand, I would say, at what point is it reasonable to suggest that get fixed, that we begin to see progress in those areas? And on the other hand, there are certain things that will not be fixed until they're able to run some guys out of this program. I think the most maddening aspect of what I do see, though, and my biggest criticism of Willie Taggart and his staff is the inconsistency in discipline and organization and messaging. And that hasn't changed, and it does lead to some of those problems that lead directly to losses. And so I share that confliction that you're talking about because I did see progress. I did see some things that we could hang our hat on and feel better about. I did see a team still willing to fight and having not quit on each other or the staff. But I also saw the sort of disorganization, lack of discipline, and frustration that lead to losses rear its ugly head again, as it did all of last year and really, frankly, dating back before Willie got here. But this is now, we're talking about years, Ira.
Years.
All of last year, we're going to see it this year. You know it's not going to be remedied by the end of this year. We saw it all of Jimbo's final year. So as a fan, I'm talking about Florida State football now for years, lacking discipline, focus, playing dumb football. Willie's team played silly last year and so far this year. So did Jimbo's final year. They played dumb football. It happened all the time. And so that's now a hallmark of the program.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where when you evaluate what's going on in the state of the program, I don't think anybody would say that it's happening quick enough. I don't think anybody. I'm sure Willie Taggart doesn't think it's happening quick enough. But at the same time, you look around, and part of one of the issues I was having with that game and kind of reconciling how I feel about how far the program's come under Willie Taggart is, I looked at the guy on the other sideline, and Bronco Mendenhall's kind of getting coaxed, stroked by everybody right now for what a job he's done at Virginia, and I think that's warranted. But we also have to remember he was 2-10 his first season, and I think he might have won 4 or 5 games his second season. So it's not like he was a miracle worker. And you can say, well, Florida State's a better program and Florida State had better athletes. It shouldn't be as quick to fix. But the problems that were existing here weren't necessarily about infusing the program with talent. It was about fixing the culture.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, where to blame Willie Taggart, and one of the things that, I've said several times, I mentioned in that article, I think Willie misread this team when he got here, and I think he thought it was going to be a quicker fix than it is.
Yep.
And I think even going into this year, I think he probably felt like some things were fixed that weren't really fixed. But at the same time, and I mentioned, again, I'm not trying to plug the article, I'm just trying to explain how I feel, why I feel what I feel. Talking to other coaches and hearing how difficult that can be, and it's easy for us sometimes to criticize and just we know in our life, and how we assess people and we know where people are coming from. Talking to another coach on the campus who doesn't coach football, but he just said, look, sometimes the kids will tell you everything you want to hear, and they'll do what you ask them to do at practice, and they'll tell you everything you want to hear. But at the first sign of adversity or things are happening behind the scenes that they're not happy with,
they revert back. Yeah,
they are not going to be there for you. They're not going to stand up for you because you're not the guy that brought them in, and they're not going to necessarily. If it's a tough decision, whether it's doing what you want or what they want, a lot of times those guys aren't going to stick. So I guess my point is, I can see it from that perspective, and I can give the guy the benefit of the doubt, especially when I say, okay, the offense is better, the special teams is better. You're bringing in Jim Leavitt. That could be a big deal. And so now we have to see how it all plays out. It could also be problematic because we don't know how those other defensive coaches are going to be, how welcome they're going to be to Jim Leavitt coming in and have a lot of ideas. If anybody knows anything about Jim Leavitt, that guy's a strong-minded guy. He's not going to be afraid to tell everybody what he thinks about any position group or any player. And now there's a dynamic there. You have to see how that's navigated. But in terms of expertise, he's a guy that could help really kind of reshape that defense a little bit. So we have to see. Again, I think, to your overall point, certain things have to get fixed, but I do think there's progress. It would be false to say it's been a total disaster, and that's my point.
Has Willie's attitude been consistent? Has it changed since preseason? And I guess the second part to that, do you sense a different level of anger, frustration, or anything else that's different now than it was in camp last year? In camp this year or dating back to last year, if you want. Yeah, either way.
In terms of dealing with the players or dealing with the media? or
yeah, across the board. Yeah, I'd say just across the board.
I mean, I definitely don't think he's, loves the media right now. I mean, I think and if you watch the press conferences, and this is something that, I think he needs to. He might be cognizant of it and just not care. I don't think he is happy with the media. I think he feels like he's been treated unfairly, which I wouldn't necessarily agree with. But I'm obviously not unbiased in this situation. But I think he feels like he's not being treated fairly, and it seems to me like his answers are shorter. He doesn't want to engage too much in these press conferences, which is fine. I mean, that's certainly his prerogative. The problem is, you're not talking to us, you're talking to the fans as well. And so now people who've been used to seeing you one way now are seeing you a different way. And, and that can be misinterpreted into a lot of different ways. Are you not happy with us? Are you not happy with the team? What's the deal? But that's what I think in the press conferences. I think he's not really wanting to engage with us because he's not thrilled with us. And so I think fans are watching it and they're like, man, this isn't, where's the passion? Where's the excitement? Where's the all of the stuff that we kind of liked about you early on? And so I think that's something he has to be cognizant of, that you don't have to like us, but you're still communicating to the fans and also obviously your players.
We agree on this, but again, I'm not unbiased either, and I think we're inclined to see this, but you're right about the perceptions of the fans. I had said earlier, before anything from today or the game this past Saturday, that he had acted sort of out of character or erratically, going back to the hydration stuff and all of that. I thought he was a guy that indicated that there were signs of the walls closing in. And, I think that's a little frustrating for Florida State fans, because one of the things that you want to see from your leader in times of trouble is a level of resolve, a resoluteness that is unshakable, a vision that you believe in, even if anybody else, all those around you covering you, criticize and don't find to be in place or intact. You can't show signs of cracking. And so I think that's probably why people begin to wring their hands further and say, well, now he's mad at the press. Well, there's no nice way to cover a program. He's under 500 in his year in 3 games here. He's beaten nobody who's any good at all. They barely beat a lot of bad teams for his wins. So it's not like there's a nice way to cover that and say that without being critical of the head coach, his staff, his players, you name it. In some ways, this was inevitable, right? The sort of the building acrimony that I think we're bearing witness to here.
I mean, probably to a degree, but also, I'm sure you can make a case that there have been some cheap shots as well. I mean, the hydration stuff, that turning into a big story. I didn't love the comments he made, but at the same time, because I perceived him the way he feels like people misperceive him. And that's fine, but the fact that it became the story it became probably wasn't necessarily fair. And then, this deal with a kid selling lemonade, the booster son selling lemonade. You have so many Seminole boosters, their son having a lemonade stand to buy you out. That's not a good look, and that shows up in, the local newspaper covers it. And again, I'm not blaming anybody specifically, but, you could feel like those are cheap shots. Now, if you're going to coach at Florida State, you got to be ready for that. But I also can understand how it would affect you. And again, dealing with people personally, and we all know, we dealt with Jimbo for a long time, and he was hypersensitive to all of those types of things. So you kind of had those highs and lows where sometimes he was happy with the media and sometimes he wasn't. But again, I think that at the end of the day, all coaches need to remember that the frustration you have with the media, if you convey it in the way you act, that only hurts yourself, because again, it goes, but the people at home are consuming it, they're watching it, and they don't know who you're mad at. And again, maybe we're reading too much into it. Maybe he's just so upset about how the team has performed so well so far that he's that's affecting his personality. But I think it's more about us and him feeling like there's some cheap shots being taken.
Well, and yeah, certainly they exist out there, and it is less than flattering to have a Booster's kid out there doing that, and that story being anything. That's really reflective of our times too. That even got a national mention. I mean, what the hell are we doing?
I mean, it was the top headline on ESPN's college football page.
Jesus,
I mean, it was the top headline.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough to coach these days. It's one of those things where obviously everybody has a platform and an ability to come at you. Then again, compensated at over $5 million a year, it's not like you're volunteering. So, you know,
Oh, 100%.
there's some of that too. So it'll be fascinating moving forward. Last thing, and I got to go, we're up against it, but did you see enough to believe that Florida State comes out and plays a crisp game for 4 quarters this Saturday and beats Louisville?
Man, again, this is where I feel like I'm kind of moving the goalposts again a little bit. But, after the first game, I really felt like how they did against Boise State, we would know a lot in these next 2 weeks. But it didn't really play out exactly how I expected. I mean, they really played well against Virginia, I think, for the most part. So now it's kind of you just have to keep watching longer and longer. And I guess that was my overall point is I don't think we all want to make a decision, but I think we just kind of have to keep evaluating it as it goes on. But This is a big moment because this is a game where it's a home game, but against a team you should beat, and now you have to actually go do it. And there's not going to be any moral victories at home against that Louisville program. So I think it's another big week, just like the week after is big. But I think we're just going to have to keep evaluating week to week. It's hard to predict, but it would be a good sign for sure, obviously, if they did.
Ooh, yeah, it'd be a disastrous sign if they didn't. Because at some point, you do have to win some games against teams that you have more talent than. Always appreciate it, brother. Be well.
See you, Jeff.
Later. That's Irish Chappelle, warchant.com. Yeah, I don't disagree with him there. I that's why I was saying before that I'm kind of surprised that people are as up in arms after each loss. Not all losses or wins are created equal. Road loss at night to Virginia in a game in which you're the underdog. Kept it within the Vegas spread. It's not something to be proud of. You don't thump your chest walking out of that stadium. You don't say, how about that? We kept it to win 7 to Virginia. Okay. Same time, you do note some of the progress and say, all right, now go win the next game you're supposed to win. Got to start beating people you're supposed to beat, though. That pretty soon that has to happen.
Oh, at some point
you kind of got to do that.
Right, right. But the mob is fickle, right? That's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And last week we were talking about it. It's almost like there's a segment of the fan base that just wanted us to pack it in so that they could be right and we could go and make change happen.
When it doesn't happen.
I didn't think we'd pack it in, though.
No.
I really didn't feel that way last week, and they haven't quit yet. I don't expect them to this weekend either. I expect them to come out and be committed. They may not be good enough in terms of their preparation, in terms of where their eyes go, all that stuff. I expect them to be committed again.
Yeah, no, I think they'll come out. I as I sit here on a Monday, I think they're going to win on Saturday. I mean, I do. I think they'll win on Saturday.
Louisville has a lot of speed to test our second level. Yeah. Levitt's got a lot of work to do between now and Saturday.
I love how we just talk as if Harlan Barnett's not coaching.
Their actions dictate that we do.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
For good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealership, and Nissan Truck Month is here. Sit in the cab of a Nissan and feel what you're missing, and we'll stand up to F-150 or Ram any day. Get 0% interest for 72 months on all Titans, plus Titan Midnight Edition package is free and up to $12,000 off MSRP. Yes, $12,000 off Titan, and the Nissan Frontier is $5,000 off. But hurry, these prices are only good during Truck Month, so come test drive one now. Or if you're looking for a high-end vehicle with low-end payments, visit our Infinity of Tallahassee store. The Kraft Brothers have special lease deals with Infinity. So listen to this. With just $39.95 down, QX50 for $385 a month, or QX60 for just $415 a month. Truck and SUV payments and savings you have come to expect from the Kraft Brothers dealerships. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or Infinity of Tallahassee on Capitol Circle Northeast next to Ted's Montana Grill. Payments plus tax for 39 months with approved credit through IFS or NMAC.
Kraft Brothers Dealerships.
Cornerstone Tool & Fastener and Makita welcome back football season. And to kick it off, we are bringing the best deals of the year. Buy a brushless premium Makita 5-amp-hour kit, get an instant $50 gift rebate, and your choice of another bare tool free. Plus, we are adding in another 5-amp battery for free. That's 3 batteries and 3 tools. Check out our specials on cordless blowers, chainsaws, compressors, and so much more. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Online at ctf.nu.
Not only does this taste well, if you're at Bumpa's Local 349, first of all, just saying the word lavash is awesome. It also tastes great because what it is it's topped with olive oil and garlic and Havarti cheese and Parmesan, and it's just damn delicious. But more than anything else, I'm glad it's good, because if it wasn't, I'd be so sad, because I'd want to say lavash. When they come over and they say, what do you want? I go, lavash. Listen, the menu's got burgers, it's got wings, it's got salads, it's got pastas, it's got ribs, it's got all the good stuff. It's got a bologna sandwich. It's got a bologna sandwich.
The penne alla vodka. This is interesting.
That's damn tasty.
It is damn tasty. It's not something that I'm picky when I eat.
You are.
My pop is a huge fan of penne alla vodka, and he says you got to have it done just
perfect.
right.
Theirs is perfect.
The reputation for that has made it into 3 different conversations I've been involved in over the last 2 months in Tallahassee. It's ridiculous.
Bumpa's Local 349. Good food, good people. Go see them. They're on Capitol Circle. Good stuff.
Hendrick.
Down, set, save. It's the kickoff to savings at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. New management, new buying experience. Now's your chance to score huge savings on a new Chevy, like the tailgate-ready 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Find new roads to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy before the clock runs down, or shop DaleJr.Chevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Jeff Cameron here, and mark it down. Wednesdays on my show, we're giving away which Wicked sandwiches. That's right. Tune in to the Jeff Cameron Show every Wednesday for your chance at a free Wicked 5 meats and 3 cheeses of deliciousness. Which is Wicked Wednesdays every week on the JCS. It's football season in Florida's Panhandle, and the best place to shop for FSU apparel and merchandise is Garnet & Gold. Owned and operated by Seminoles for Seminoles for nearly 40 years. Garnet & Gold has a huge selection of FSU merchandise to serve you, the true Nole. Shop online 24/7 at garnetandgold.com. And on game days, visit us on West Pensacola Street, just 2 blocks from the stadium. And remember, we're always open at garnetandgold.com. Go Noles!
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Let's have some fun. Got to mix it up every now and again. We love finding the games and the moments in time in which one shudders or celebrates, depending on how it went. Like, for example, yesterday, if you're a Bears fan, by rights, you had no business winning that game. But then it happens. Second back on the clock, 53-yard field goal. If you're a Broncos fan, ooh.
You knew it was good the moment that they got granted the second as well. I know what the woes for Chicago's kickers are, but
I guarantee you no Bears fan thought that was going to be
in
good.
that situation. It's just watching the game from afar, they're going to lose this game, because getting the second, it guarantees.
It should, right? I mean, you kind of feel like that.
Also, 53 in Denver is 45.
But he hit it and knew it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He
That's
had
good
it
for
all the
him.
way.
Good for that guy. Good for them. I mean, there's been some stuff going on there in Chicago for a while. We know about that in Tampa Bay, although that seems to be remedied as well.
He missed the 40-yarder on Thursday, but he looks confident, if that means anything.
Yeah. Well, they're going to miss some kicks every now and then. Yeah, he does look confident, and that's all I care about for now. I'll care more about the misses if they continue to stack up, no matter how confident he looks. Let's do this. Let's do a vision check and look at 3 pretty interesting outcomes, if you will, for giggles. A vision check it is.
Open your eyes.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
My glasses. I can't be seen without my glasses. That is absolutely horrendous.
I don't believe this call is accurate.
Everything is proceeding as
I have foreseen.
Man, I can see!
Black vision.
It's time for the vision check.
As brought to you by the Law Office of Jose Fernandez. They don't get paid until you do. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. Offices, Miami and Tallahassee. All right, here you go. Alabama, depending on where you look, we're 26.5-point favorites, leading 47-16 with 15 seconds left in the game. After roughing South Carolina quarterback Ryan Helinski on fourth down, the Gamecocks were able to score on the next pass for a touchdown. That gave the Gamecocks a crazy backdoor cover, finishing the game 47-23. Bama people, or people who laid points with Bama, went, yes, I'm well aware of that one, Jeff. Thanks for bringing it up. It's called gambling, guys. Sometimes things happen. Pretty brutal. Oklahoma State covered its 14-point spread against Tulsa. Oklahoma State had to go for it on 4th and 1 on the Tulsa 33, up 12 points with 2:41 to go in the game.
They went for it. That's amazing.
The result of the fourth down play was a 33-yard touchdown run, snatching the underdog Green Wave's chances of covering and causing yours truly to celebrate an Oklahoma State cover right there, baby. There we go. Cowboys. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Touchdown, Cowboys.
There we go.
That's another cover for the Cowboys.
That's right. That is another cover for the Cowboys. Unfortunately, my niece was at this game, a freshman at Georgia Tech. She was all excited, welcomed her sister to town. They went to the game together, and they saw this. The Citadel beating Georgia Tech 27-24, completing all of one pass. One pass completed by the Citadel, baby. That's like that year that Florida lost to Georgia Southern, who didn't complete a single pass.
Yeah, the Citadel did and one better.
Yep. So the Citadel beats Georgia Tech 27-24, completed the one pass. They did run for 320 yards, kicked a 37-yard field goal in overtime. That beat the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech, a 27-point favorite at home, gave the Citadel $400,000 plus to roll into Bobby Dodd and deliver the win.
And deliver the butt kicking.
The overtime victory. Mm-hmm. Yes, deliver the win.
If you're a 27-point favorite and you lose it all, that is a butt kicking.
You know the game that stood out to me and why you can't get carried away with early results and think that you have a 100% degree of certainty on anybody. Temple knocking off Maryland. Loxley and the boys at Maryland had been dropping 70 on the world, and they lose 20-17 to Temple. No matter who coaches Temple, they're well coached. It's unbelievable. Every year, Temple's got a guy.
Yeah, that game was interesting because it fortifies the argument that Syracuse has fallen off the side of a mountain.
Weird.
It is really, like the ACC in general, if you're just looking at the tea leaves. I texted you on Friday night or Saturday morning following up on the Adazio loss to Kansas. I said, just reading all these tea leaves about the ACC and the way we look as a conference, it makes me feel better about tonight's game. I don't think we can get boat raced because I don't think anybody's really anywhere close to top 25 good right now.
Yeah, the league's bad right now. I mean, NC State getting clobbered by West Virginia in a tie ball game at halftime. That's a weird result. West Virginia's looked dreadful.
Except on Saturday.
Well,
they looked potent. That place was rocking. Freshman quarterback on the road.
Weird result. Yeah, but I don't think, in watching Virginia beat us, I think they're going to lose a few games this year. It's not a brutal schedule, so they should be all right, but that's not a great team. We're obviously just bad for a myriad of reasons that we've documented. Yeah, Miami's not good.
I'm still pissed at Jimbo for dialing up his best fourth down play from 2 weeks ago. Still mad about that.
He plays to keep it
backdoor of the century.
Yeah, but he plays to keep it close. And if this quarterback had made throws in the first quarter, you weren't going to be in a position. You got to look at it that way.
I don't think so, though. Clemson, if they get punched a little bit, then they actually go to a place and they stay at a place. But they were unamused by this opponent.
I guess. They would have been amused if my man hit some passes early that were schemed wide the hell open, and they would have been trailing by more than a score. I don't know. I just...
That's their personality. If you don't grab their attention, they're going to ride with you.
Yeah.
But then when you do grab their attention, they run you into the ground.
Unfortunately. So maybe we should not grab their attention when we go.
We didn't last year. We did. That's how it started. That's why it started so close. They're like, this thing's all simple.
Well, then we roughed the kicker, and then they were like, okay, we've had enough. Now we're going to beat your ass.
That's their personality.
Now we're going to beat your ass. Well, okay, and out of the NFL, is there anything that's shocking you yet? I don't think so. I mean, it's 2 weeks.
Yes. One thing. To see the 49ers offense put up gobs of points and yards on Cincinnati.
Makes me feel better about what Todd Bowles is doing in Tampa, but I don't think Cincinnati's any good.
Yeah, but it's shocking to me that San Francisco is, first of all, capable of doing that at all, the way Garoppolo looked in the preseason. And we only give up 7 offense, or 1 touchdown, I should say, to San Francisco offensively a week ago.
No, that makes me feel really good about Todd Bowles.
And then you stop McCaffrey, and he had 20 yards in the first possession, and he had 55, 60 yards for the entire game from scrimmage.
Yeah. No, we're a lot better on defense, aren't
Whoa. Yeah, that is shocking.
Well, we knew the Giants were going to be bad. They're 0-2. We knew the Bengals would be bad. They're 0-2. Figured Washington would be bad. They're playing better than I thought they'd play. They're playing hard, but they're not good. They're 0-2. The Jags let another one go. They're 0-2, but they're on their backup quarterback, so that's not going to be a good year for them. The Dolphins are terrible. They're 0-2. It's nice to see that the Bucs are tied for first place in the NFC South, and that the unfortunate nature of Drew Brees' injury is such that this opens the door for a lot of things. Atlanta is 1-1, but haven't looked good. Panthers are 0-2. Cam doesn't look good. It's wide open in the NFC South. The Patriots are real good. We already knew that. I don't know really what else to think about too much. The Lions are 1-0-1. They should be 2-0. Beating the Chargers was a big win for them.
Back to college real quick. Did you see the finish of Pitt-Penn State?
Yeah. How about Pitt?
Oh my God.
I know. It's
you kick a field goal from they didn't run the ball up the middle one time at first and goal. They didn't run the ball one time up the middle. It was a quarterback run and a couple of gadgets.
Yeah, that was poorly done. I was in shock. I couldn't hear the sound, and I was thinking, am I missing something? What am I not hearing? I was watching it. We were at a bar.
It looked like, that's a good place to be before a game.
We were, yeah.
Narduzzi was talked into going for it on 4th down earlier in the possession. They were going to punt, and he is super, super conservative. They were going to punt. They call a timeout. They changed their mind. I don't know if it was Whipple that changed his mind or he had a change of heart on his own.
Whipple.
But they go for a really difficult throw and play on a 4th and short. It's a throw up the seam to the tight end off of play action, and the window is really small because he has to throw over the head of the defender.
Yeah.
And they make the play.
I saw the play, yeah.
And so you think they grow in that moment and maybe they're going to be aggressive, but then they get down to the goal line and they don't do a damn thing. And then of course they missed that field goal. That game was unbelievable. Now, I didn't have them on a money line or anything.
No.
And I thought Pitt plus 17.5 was a really good play based on how they played against Virginia because their secondary at Pitt is good. They're aggressive. They're going to take penalties, but they're the antithesis of us. They trigger downhill, and they're aggressive against in man-on-man coverage. But, Jesus, you got a chance there. It's 4th and goal from the 1. You're Pitt. You're a 17.5-point underdog kicking a field goal. That's a fireable offense.
Does Pitt have UCF this week?
Is that right?
Double check it. I got to go look
at that. That's a covering machine.
Well, let's get back to that. I want to give credit to somebody. Lee Sterling came on the show on Thursday, a day early, talked of a guarantee, another 45-unit play, loved the matchup, talked a lot about it, texted me immediately after the show, said it was UCF.
He put it in his on-air play at a lower margin of victory, and then so he was slow playing it. He was slow playing the hand because he had it on his actual executive service.
He loved them, and he said it was a guarantee. And it's funny. I liked UCF too, so we agreed on it, and I felt good about that. I don't always agree on his major unit plays, but I thought, okay, well, we're in agreement here. I got it at 8.5 instead of 7.5. I went a little early on it and went to 8.5. I said, I don't care. They're going to win by 2 touchdowns at least. And then it was over before it started. Then you had a long game delay.
It got a little bit tight in the second half.
Very.
But all they needed was once. Having watched us in Boise State, you're like, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't you win it by 6.
Don't you do this to me, Ricky Bobby.
Wake tried to lose the game on Friday night, too.
I know.
Did you watch that one?
I didn't watch it. I heard there was a controversy with the officiating and everything else. I heard.
Well, the 1 second left. There were a couple other bad calls earlier in the game. But they tried to lose the game playing for 3 late, and so they end up going up 6. And you think, my God, you're going to ball to this kid. He's going to have 3 game-winning drives in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they played prevent. It had all of the hallmarks, but then
here we go.
They get a tackle in bounds, and that's how they win by 6 and hold on.
Want to note something here really quick. I talked about it in the first hour. I'll bring it up here again because I'm getting some tweets and some of you missed segments of the show. I know how it works. The way the rule works in college football is if it's under 3 seconds, you can't do the spike. You have to have at least 3 seconds on the. So for starters, that's why we didn't spike it. Now there should have been 7 seconds,
7 or 6,
whatever you want to argue.
Yeah.
From where I was sitting and I had to see it live, I was like, what are they doing? They're screwing us. They're screwing us. They're screwing us. But, I mean, I get it can happen, but you can always go back and look at that. And I figured they should have gone back and looked at that if we wanted to spike. But you got a lot going on there.
The problem is you can't let the clock run to zero and say, go look at it.
No,
You've got to run a play.
Right. It's a travesty sort of at the end of the game. Here's what I will tell you. I instantly, I'm in the stadium, so I'm not looking at Twitter. I'm not looking at what our fan base is saying. I'm watching this play develop. I have no problem with the play call. I have a problem that the linemen, and you, Tamori and Terry, apparently didn't really know what we were doing. And if they did, then they don't know what they're doing in the way that they executed. So,
which they should know from the huddle 2 plays ago.
Yeah, get on the same page, everybody. This is part of that disarray we see on the regular with this group, where I talk about the lack of organization and the frustration I feel where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. This happens way too often with Florida State as it pertains to timeouts, as well as end-of-game situations and decisions. The direct snap doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. You're getting the ball to your best player. And Florida State, if they block it up right, I think they score. If Tamori Terry even bothers to block somebody.
Yeah. And Roberts is in pass pro.
Yeah.
He had a rough day in general.
Mm-hmm. So I just
it looks like there's an option to throw to James there, though. And if you do throw to James left, and Cam didn't think about it for 1/10 of a second, so it may be a design run to the right, or he may just have his own choice to make, and he chose himself over looking at the defense and making a throw.
That's usually a good decision.
But if you do flare it out to James to the left there, and Willie talked about it, Ace, you could do it. I'm not going to tell you guys, you know what, because we may run that play again. I like that play in that situation. He defended Kendall today.
No, it's a good play. I like the play, too. I just don't think they blocked it up the way that it's supposed to be, and not everybody really knew what they were doing. That means that you haven't repped it enough. So if you've got one play at the end of a game that you really, really like, it's just like Jimbo's play against Clemson. I mean, they would have scored on that play no matter the situation. It would have been a 1-point game, a 100-point game. That nobody was stopping that play because they had schemed a perfect play. And everybody's got one of those for a 2-point conversion or a goal line play. Once you run it once, everybody knows it's there. So you got to choose. That's why it was kind of weird that Jimbo did it there. But anyhow,
right.
But you got it. You can do it one time,
Not
and
letting
somebody's
that go.
going to know. Right. Somebody's going to know that you have it. If you got a play you really, really like, it has to be repped a million times. Go to the Super Bowl. The New England-Atlanta Super Bowl, the 2-point conversion there. There is no hesitation about what they're going to run in that situation. It's a pretty big moment. It's to force overtime in the Super Bowl. My man turns, fires, and it is now. And everybody is lined up perfectly. It is blocked perfectly. Assignment football to the T. I get it. They're pros. But you've got to look much more organized than we looked in that situation. So as far as the way it ended, I don't have a problem with the play call.
Of course, it's a direct snap to that end zone in that building.
What? I mean, I see it. I know the parallels, but I didn't care about that. And I don't think they were trying to pay homage. And if they were, that's kind of cool. Just block it better.
Oh, I don't know that was intentional. Like Kendall's thinking, I remember 95.
Of course not. But I'm saying if it was, that's pretty cool. How cool would it have been to avenge that?
If it was for a 2-point play to end the game right then and right there, I'm with you. But that was just to tie the ball game.
No, but run whatever play you feel comfortable with. Just make sure the guys know what the hell they're doing. That's what pissed me off.
Night on this dark highway.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Heads will turn during the incredible Crowned Heads cigar event from 6 to 10 p.m. Experience exclusive event-only deals and limited release blends. Only at the Crowned Heads cigar event, Thursday, September 19th at Jerry's Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway.
Pickens Tree Service has over 25 years of experience in cutting down trees and removing stumps in the Tallahassee area. While you may appreciate the beauty of foliage on your property, certain trees may pose a health risk to the owners. Pickens Tree Service will help you identify these potential issues and take preventative measures to remove the risk along with the tree. Just give them a call for a free estimate at 850-590-1833. That's 850-590-1833. Pickens Tree Service, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quincy, Crawfordville, and surrounding areas.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
The Friday Night Lights are back on Tallahassee Sports Monster. Catch a full season of high school football action on 97.9 ESPN Radio in broadcast partnership with the Varsity Sports Network. High school football on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. Whatever your heating or cooling needs, turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, 580-4029, and online at baranoac.com.
Hendrick.
Are you ready for kickoff? At Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, it's the kickoff to savings and the best time to buy. Rock your next tailgate with a 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 truck, up to $13,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $13,000 off. We are professional grade. Come see us on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or shop DaleJr.GMC.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Big guy that picked me up in an Uber when I was leaving the National Museum of African American History, which is, if you get a chance to go, you should go. It's stunning. It is absolutely incredible. I couldn't get all that I wanted to from it because you would have had to be there for 6 hours. Just really, really cool. And anything that they do, the Smithsonian, any of that stuff is just worth your time. If you haven't taken your kids to all the museums, you really should when they get to the right age. But I hadn't gone to that one yet. There were a few I hadn't gone to the National Portrait Gallery. I went to that, which was really cool as well. But anyhow, so I'm going around by myself on that Friday because the ESPN studios in D.C. are going through major reconstruction, and we couldn't use them. So I was like, well, got to make the most of my day. And so I went around to the various museums, but I get into this Uber to drive back over to Arlington where I was staying, and I was wearing my Florida State hat, and the guy goes, oh, hey, how you doing? There's a lot of Florida State people in town. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you guys got Virginia, I guess, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, he's trying to be cordial. He goes, what the hell's going on? He was relatively young and with it, and I goes, did you go to Virginia? He goes, no, Maryland. Went to Maryland. But I love college football, and I pay attention. And you guys don't look like you guys. You look like something that I'd see at Maryland. And I went, yes, that's true. And as we were talking more, he he couldn't get enough. He's just like, what? Something's terribly wrong there. What's going on in your administration? What is happening within the fan base? He goes, I watch college football every week, and I'm glued to it. I just can't believe what I'm seeing in Tallahassee. This is bizarre. Do you know? He just wanted answers. And I said, well, I've got some thoughts. And, I told him a lot of the things because he didn't have any idea about what was happening towards the end of Coach Fisher's time at Florida State. What's happened so far since Harlan's taken over on defense. He's like, Florida State always had a good defense. Why can't you guys stop anybody? And then obviously he wants to know about Willie. He wants to know about the whole organization.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sure you were thrilled to have to go through that from step one.
Yeah, God. But
the first time you did it.
Yeah, I did appreciate his enthusiasm. I did appreciate that he was clearly a fan of college sports and big picture stuff. But that was his reaction. Is very commonplace, I'm finding, no matter where you go. When you get further removed from Tallahassee, there's just a lot of head scratching going on when people are like, what in God's name? It's like if we were watching Ohio State implode, where every Saturday you'd look up at the scoreboard or the ticker, you're like, Ohio State is losing to Miami of Ohio by 10 in the third quarter. What is going on? And then it just kept happening. At some point we'd go, oh, it's broken. They're broken. I'm not going to bet on them anymore. I've learned. They're broken, and we've seen this act before. That's what people are still kind of uncovering. They're just now confirming for themselves, oh, no, it's a disaster. They're broken.
Yeah, well, the 2-point play says it all. If somebody ever asks a question of me that they just asked of you in an Uber in Washington, D.C., I'd just pull up that play and I'd say, watch this. That tells you everything you need to know about where we are right now.
It also tells me, once again, why a certain linebacker would not be on the field ever. What's he doing at the end of that play besides not tackling the ball carrier? Why is Dontavius Jackson hitting some dude that has nothing to do with the play? I can't answer it.
Marvin Wilson. That's all I got for you.
And by the way, those defensive tackles aren't great right now either. They're okay.
I thought he was a man beast, though.
He played hard. He played well. But, through 3 games, have they been the staunch?
No, I thought he took over the game in a lot of different ways.
No, in this game, he played well. But he didn't play well against ULM. He didn't play well in week 1 against Boise State. There hasn't been – that group, that segment hasn't been dominant. It's better.
Yeah, it was better. I think that was probably the best. I know that Coop had the 15-yard penalty.
That's a BS call.
I agree with where you're going there.
Complete BS call.
If I could get a get out of jail free card, I'd say go for it.
No,
say it because it's true.
Completely nonsensical.
The offsides, that you wish that didn't happen, but he was firing off the ball in a different way this week. I think he's more comfortable a little bit. Maybe the playing weight was the concern. He's not pushing people around, or he's being moved easier than he used to be moved. I don't know what it was. Yeah, I think Durden has been the most consistent at flashing and making plays. But
Durden is.
But Wilson, in terms of just chucking people into the ground and creating space and
flushing,
forcing a flush pocket, he's been really good. It's just you watch the linebackers, and again, Woodby does the same crap where it looks like he's in prevent defense at times, and he's got to come down and make a play, or he decides to run the exact wrong way when somebody else already has the person who's like a running back is releasing into the flat. He's accounted for, and Woodby's like, let me follow him over there, when clearly the gap in front of him is his responsibility. Yeah. That's just what we do. That's what he does. That's what we do at the linebacker level every week, until further notice. If I was Levitt, I'd say, don't pay me a dime, not yet at least. What I want is I want you to pay me $20,000 for every incremental improvement I can make of this segment group, because he would be a millionaire. He's got nowhere to go but way the hell up. He must look at this film from Saturday and go, Jesus, what are we aren't teaching them. We can't be teaching them.
Well, I'll tell you this. The sooner we get a Kevon Glenn out there, the sooner we play some of the other guys that we've gotten glimpses of, but we don't stick with for long periods of time.
Those rumors were bogus, weren't they? That we were going to get the young kids out there.
Well, there are times where you got some guys and you see something and you go, well, I think I'd just stay with him. Like he looks like a guy that will make mistakes, but is going to get better and better and better, and I'll just go with him. And then they go away from it, and it drives you nuts. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for them to do it.
The others must be worse. That's the only reason I could think is the others are worse. Rice didn't play that well. I know it's a different position group, but Warner was.
He's terrible.
That's our best option? That's our best option at that position? I mean, he was the guy that everybody was raving about. They don't know what they're looking at in camp. They can't know what they're looking about in camp. They were raving about him. How do you rave about that guy? Watch 35 on Sat. Oh, my God.
No, I watch him all the time. There's a lot to kind of shelter your eyes from when you watch a Florida State defense, in particular the linebackers. But it also carries over in terms of technique issues. You see a lot of technique issues up front. Durden is a big problem with that,
sure.
Technique-wise. He also makes plays, so I got you.
Well, and if you're schemed to be in a situation that you can't possibly defend properly, that's not your fault as a player.
That's where you lose hope, but they were better off on Saturday than they had been. That gives me hope that they're getting there.
It's 10 points in the third quarter. I mean, listen, I'm not going to ignore the progress made, at least on the scoreboard and the result-wise, but there are some instances where reads easily can be made, and they aren't.
How frequently, I tell you what, it was great. In the stands, Florida State had that stretch there in the middle where we're pretty well dominating the Virginia offense. They're getting off the field. And I think it's like 2 out of 3 drives. It's a 3 and out for Virginia or whatever it is. And I'm like, that's another 3 and out. And I heard myself talking aloud, like, this is the stuff we get excited about now. That's a 3 and out. Another one.
Yeah.
Look at that. Hey, everybody, that's a 3 and out.
Right.
Take hold. Take notice.
It's like 2nd and 8 last year for the offense. Like 2nd and 8?
2nd and 8. This is doable.
How do we
get a first down?
You walk into the stands. How do we get 2nd and 8? Well, they were offsides. We lost 3 on first down. Okay. I did see something. I wrote it down. I don't have my note in front of me, but it's the second quarter. It's a 2nd and 8 play. I think it's about 5 minutes to go around midfield for Virginia. And it's a run to the right. I forget if it's Perkins or the tailback or whatever it was. But Dontavius is locked up in a block, and he fights through the block, and he makes a play on it. And I thought,
you shut your mouth.
My God, I've seen it with my own eyes.
It didn't happen.
It did.
I don't think you were looking at the right number.
I'll have to make a GIF out of it so we can look at that film.
I'm going to go back during the commercial break here in a minute and look for it because I don't think it happened.
A 72-point font tomahawk on the back of his helmet.
For that one play?
For that play.
But you lose it for the 2-point conversion. You don't get it. It gets taken off because of that ludicrous. What are you doing on that play?
I don't know.
Go watch
Allow
the play
me to
again.
remove this man from the end zone.
I don't understand what he's doing. Like, I'm trying to think about the mindset. This happens a lot.
Look at Warner on that play, too.
I don't know what they're doing.
Right. And that's where Levitt is. Levitt's going to have to look at that, grade it, and go.
No, what would you do? I mean, what would you do if you're Levitt? You're like, well, I got a guy that there's the carrier of the football in front of him. He's within sight. Yeah, right. He can tackle him, but he chooses instead to hit this other guy as if that is the primary concern.
I laugh because I want to weep, first of all, in case people are saying you're laughing too much. I really think, though, that if you are a certain position group in this defense and you're getting practice this week and you see the coach has a sheet in front of him, it might say from the desk of Jim Levitt on the top of it while we're going through position instruction.
Guys, and he's reading, guys, I want you to.
Why does Coach sound weird today?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just do what's on the paper. Do what's on the paper, fellas. I've devised a hell of a game plan for this week.
Hey, this kind of works.
Yep. Okay, next. Step 2. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Energy Star appliance rebates. This can help you receive up to $300 on appliances such as refrigerators, washing machines, and more. And don't forget to ask about budget billing. This free program gives you more predictable bills by averaging the amount you pay each month to help avoid spikes caused by seasonal changes. With so many savings, you're sure to be a winner. Visit talgov.com or call 850-891-4968. That's talgov.com or 850-891-4968 to learn more.
Target's end of summer clearance dash is here. Don't walk, don't run, dash in for savings up to 70% off thousands of amazing finds, like apparel and shoes for women, men, and kids. And you won't want to miss savings up to 50% off for your home, including bedding, decor, and furniture. But you better hurry. These deals are going fast. So dash into Target for our biggest clearance event of the season, the end of summer clearance dash. Going on now, only at Target. Restrictions may apply.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hendrick.
Kickoff for savings at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500s up to $15,000 off MSRP. Find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Can you hear it? There's no better tradition in all of sports than 80,000 Noles doing the war chant. Now is your chance to be a part of that. Single game tickets are on sale now as the Noles take on Louisville Saturday, September 21st inside Doak Campbell Stadium. Don't get left out of the best tradition in all of sports. Purchase your tickets today to see Florida State football live in person. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Wich Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Wich Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the season is over for Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, while Saints QB Drew Brees will likely be sidelined several weeks. Roethlisberger will have season-ending surgery this week on his right elbow. He sustained the non-contact injury late in the second quarter in the loss to Seattle. 0-2 Pittsburgh now moves on with backup Mason Rudolph taking over. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Brees is expected to soon undergo thumb surgery and miss about 6 weeks. Without Brees, New Orleans' shot at another Lombardi trophy likely over, in the opinion of ESPN's Ryan Clark.
Without Drew Brees, you lose that leadership, but you also lose the productivity that this guy has given you year after year after year. For the Saints, you go from a Super Bowl contender to a team that will struggle to win and get into the playoffs.
Brees, to this point, has missed only 1 start because of injury since high school. Before this injury, Caesars Sportsbook had the Saints at 8-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, with Brees likely to miss multiple games. The odds now 25-1. The Saints' backup is Teddy Bridgewater. Their third QB is Taysom Hill. Tonight, Browns and Jets face off on Monday Night Football for the first time since the very first ever ABC Monday Night Football game in 1970. In that game, the Browns never trailed the Joe Namath's Jets and won 31-21. Coverage tonight begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Baseball, Steven Strasburg seeks his Major League lead tying 18th win of the season when he and the Nationals visit the Cardinals. St. Louis leads the NL Central by 2 on the Cubs. Washington's got a 1.5 game lead on Chicago for the first NL wildcard spot. Virginia announced a one-year extension for basketball coach Tony Bennett. He said he declined a raise and asked for money to be used to pay his staff more and for improvements to both his program and other Virginia teams.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Good Monday, everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you're rested. Hope you're happy. How are we doing out there? Everybody happy? No? All right. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do, go back, get caught up. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Uniforms looked good on Saturday night.
They did.
The all-whites are with the garnet regal. We looked regal running out of that tunnel. Eminently beatable and regal.
It is the opposite of slimming, too. You look like a bigger, faster
team.
and stronger team.
Yeah, much better.
Too bad it doesn't influence the scoreboard by
Doesn't
itself.
change the outcome of games right now, Tom, but we look better. We look better. Look sharp in those all whites. I like them. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. I hope you guys are well, too.
Hello, Newman.
If you missed portions of the show, all 3 hours are going to be on iTunes and in our own audio vault. If you go to iTunes, rate, review, share, all that good stuff, as they say. We lost again. If you missed the first 2 hours, we talked a little bit about the loss, about the defeat at the hands of Virginia.
About loss in general.
About loss.
Life is loss.
Yeah. How you cope? How you cope? Let's have some class, a little bit of dignity. We all suffer through loss. It's our turn. It's just our turn right now.
Are you suggesting Kevorkian come down here?
So I was, as you know, at this game. Tom was kicking it, Hangar 38, having a good time, and thanks to all the people that went and joined him and the ESPN crew, and thanks to our friends at Hangar 38. I'm glad you had fun, and all went well, save for the outcome of the game. As for me, I was there in the belly of the beast. 50-yard line seats, perfect, absolutely perfect. Must tell you, I was treated well by the Virginia fans. Was a UVA law grad, well-reasoned, intelligent guy. So was his wife. We had interesting conversations, mainly about how bad the game was officiated on both sides. It was we were marveling at that. That too frequently is the conversation these days, whether you're watching professional football or college football, the overly litigious nature of everything. It's just like we got to review everything, look at everything with a fine-tooth comb and find a penalty or a potential damaging headshot and make sure that we get this out of the game. Good God. Anyhow, to the game, per our previous discussions, a recap for those hopping in the car, perhaps. I continue to marvel at how dumb we play. It's 3.5 years of playing really dumb football. We make all kinds of ridiculous errors born out of a lack of discipline. It was my biggest complaint at the end of the Jimbo era. It's still my biggest complaint at the beginning of the Willie Taggart era. Although this could be a case of grand opening, grand closing. We'll see. Really, Florida State's played undisciplined and stupid for 3.5 years. Just a lot of dumb stuff you see throughout a Florida State football game. Like if you watch Florida State, I'm not even talking about just, decisions. I'm just talking about actions and games. Those final year 34 and in that way. It down, man. Shine us routinely.
Whoever.
Yeah.
And that kid could float it 50, 55 yards on command.
Yeah, well, Ricky's making kicks too, and so...
That's a hell of a kick in a big situation,
yeah,
too.
Man, he's making kicks. I trust him again. So we're riding the ship on special teams. We were certainly better. Run defense-wise, we were much better. Still not great. We're not always disciplined. We're not always smart, but we were better, much better in this game than we've been at any point this year against the run. And we still can't rush the passer. We just don't have anybody that can. You're noticing, by the way, all this stuff that we did in game one that worked to try to get people home. Teams know what the hell's coming now on every 3rd and long. They block it up, or the quarterback knows it's coming. We're not really doing anything to affect the quarterback all that much unless it's good coverage downfield. I didn't come away very impressed with Perkins. I know a lot of people like that kid. I don't think he's terribly accurate as a passer. The thing he does best is buy time with his legs to get something to come open. But short of that, he's not very good.
What I was really frustrated with is a lot of the things that I thought would play out did play out, and we had some real open looks at bigger plays beyond the obvious ones that everybody knows.
About to get to that.
But their defensive back group, they're slow. They're slow to the ball. We were faster, and if we were a little bit more decisive in some moments, there were some open things. And I thought we got away from quick hitters in the run game. Between the guards right away, late first quarter, early second quarter, they were long developing runs. They were sitting at that point of decision for way too long on stretches, and they got blown up. Anytime it was lateral, they had a good enough group of linebackers and a front.
And they were smart enough to
cut us off at the
quickly.
pass, and their angles were correct. But if we hit them in the mouth and we got tempo going, they clearly don't handle it very well.
No, I'd run it against them, and I didn't come away all that impressed with what Virginia has athletically. They are smart. They do play hard. They are well coached, as you would expect. They get the most out of what they have, but they don't have a lot. Florida State was a much more talented team on Saturday, and that's a damning indictment of where we're at when you have the better players and you lose again. We most of the time have the better players in a lot of these situations. Certainly not against like the Clemsons of the world and Floridas of the world right now, and maybe not the Miamis of the world maybe. But really, a lot of these teams we play against, we have better players. We just lose the game. You're not well coached. Still aren't well coached. Not terribly disciplined. Don't play real smart. We get really, really sloppy in situations where you can't be, where you got to be buttoned up. See the last play. It's a perfect summary of where we're at right now. They did some things well to put themselves in a position. They got gifted that last drive. Of course, it shouldn't have come to that, because if James Blackman could hit anything on the outside ever down the field, we might have had 2 or 3 more touchdowns. He doesn't diagnose. It's schemed up nicely on the outside. All those double moves seem to be open every time. A good quarterback never misses the throw that he missed to Tamorrion Terry there by as much as he missed it. I mean, he missed it. It's not even close. I mean, he's got no chance to catch that ball. I mean, it's not one of those where he just off the fingertips. And he airmails that by 10 yards. It's not good. And
it's the moment being too big.
Well, and he hasn't been good. He hasn't been efficient on those passes on the outside. If you saw that Pro Football Focus, the numbers there, he's 1 of 16 for 28 yards on throws of more than 10 yards outside the hash for the year. He can't hit it.
Which is crazy, because the deep ball to the outside was his calling card entering the season.
In the middle of the field, I always felt like it was, but much more so than down the side. But you're right. He's hit that in the past, maybe not as consistently as I remember it.
He and Tamorrion are playing a 2-man game in NC State last year.
Yeah, it might be the one. I mean, he can't hit it. He can't hit it. And I don't know if that's I'm not a quarterback, not a former quarterback, never coached quarterbacks. My guess is that is, you're right, nerves and perhaps the moment being big, but there has to be something mechanically wrong. He's also late getting the ball out right now, and that is causing the penalties you're seeing on the linemen. Yeah. You got to get the ball out of your hands.
Well, it's also causing distress for receivers, like the Terry catch over the middle where he gets upended and he could have lost his life. It's a little late.
Yeah, it's very late.
A couple of those.
He's late. He's late. So he's an average quarterback. But that said, he's not the overriding problem. He is average, and he misses some things, but he does some other things okay. I was just happy he didn't turn the football over in this game. But when you walk away from a Florida State game right now, you're typically walking away after a loss, and you're also walking away feeling like they could be so much more efficient, that they could be so much more buttoned up in a lot of areas, and I think that's what we find unacceptable. There are areas of improvement. There's no question the offense is better than it was a year ago. There's no question the offensive line has been coached up and playing better than it was a year ago.
And schemed away from.
Yep. There's no question we're better on special teams. So a lot of things are better. When I hear people say, "Oh, we're not any better than we were a year," no, we are. We are a lot better in some areas than we were a year ago. It's not good enough, though. It's obviously not good enough. And so what you find yourself in is this juxtaposition of anger and frustration and sort of just this facepalm moment time and again where you say, this is Florida State. Why is it so difficult for us in truth, Florida State's won one game this year by 1 point in overtime because a kid from Louisiana Monroe missed an extra point.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, you say that's just not going to get it done. It's unacceptable. No matter how bad things are in the locker room, no matter how bad things were that you inherited, that can't be the case. And you'd be right to say that. You would be right to say that. On the other hand, can't say there aren't signs that things are getting better in some areas. They are. The question becomes, over the long haul, is it enough? At any point this year, do they play good football? Do we see them play a good football game from start to finish? Do we see discipline and focus? Do we see guys playing a heady brand of football before the end of the season? You've got some games you're going to lose because you're not good enough. You're not going to beat Clemson. I don't care if you played the smartest game you've ever played in your life, the most disciplined game of your life. You're going to lose to Clemson by more than 3 touchdowns, if they care, if Clemson cares.
3 touchdowns would be pretty good.
Yeah. So, there are some games you're just going to lose. But there are a whole lot of other really winnable games, and you got to start winning them. This was one of them. This was one of them.
And they sure as hell look more winnable now than they did before Saturday's slate or Friday nights in Boston College's case.
Yeah.
But you've got a Wake Forest team that is up 21-0 instantly and nearly gives that game away, tries to lose it. Boston College obviously does what it does against Kansas.
Out against Kansas.
West Virginia runs all over NC State, and NC State was coached. When Lee said this on Thursday,
I think Dave Doran.
I think you laughed as much as I
chuckled,
did. That they're well coached.
No,
sweet Jesus, that was a travesty of a game on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Felipe Franks is out for the year. So all of a sudden,
that may be a gift for Florida, actually.
It could be, maybe.
That may be a gift. He's terrible. I was starting to think that they got lucky with that.
Well, how
injury.
was he not beat out?
I don't know, but
would be my question. But that slate out of nowhere looks a whole lot easier than it did entering the weekend, because after a week or two, we thought, well, the ACC there's a lot of teams that could score a lot of points on you real quick. I'm not so sure.
No, I'm not so sure either. Listen, you've got this winnable game: Louisville, NC State, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Miami, Boston College, obviously Alabama State. We'll see what Florida is by the season's end at quarterback.
Yeah.
A lot of winnable games. And you've got to find a way to start winning these games, because I don't care about these baby steps. Admittedly, I'll point them out when I see them. I'll say they're more buttoned up, that it's their best effort of the year and all that. But it did come after yet another loss to a talented team, but not immensely talented, not more talented than you. That has to stop. Losing to people who don't have as much talent as you has to stop.
Yeah, it makes me want to puke all over the soundboard here, because I'm going to sound like Mark Schlereth, but I think it's true. We just don't know how to win. It's a group that doesn't know how to win, because I can make 2 arguments, compelling arguments, one that we're 3-0 at this point and one that we're 0-3. At this point.
Sure.
And both are reasonable. Both are reasonable cases to make.
Well, margin for error is virtually gone. So that's the situation you find yourself in.
But that's why, how many things do you have to stack up against Boise State to lose that freaking football game? Mm-hmm. Same thing with ULM and the way it all deteriorated in the second half.
Well, between the ears stuff right now there's no question that's a shot bunch. It's the golfer with a 2-way miss he's standing on the tee, just doesn't know.
It's like there's no snowball buildup. It goes from this little thing to this giant thing in one frame.
Yeah, it's really weird. I thought this was the first indicator that they were moving on a little bit from that. I know the fourth quarter is decisively damning.
Well, what I'm worried about is James, because it's a 3rd and 6 throw that's really easy. His first read looked like it was going to be a touchdown if he held on to it a little bit longer, but I'm not going to blame the kid for taking 7 yards when it's right in front of you and you need a first down. But then you have the throw to Terry that he misses, and on the first play of that drive, he screws up the exchange. They should have fumbled the ball right there.
Yeah, they could have. It's not what they were
He
trying
was
to
domed up. That's not good.
Well, and there's a play on the left side of the field that he misses that's just, oh, my God. I think Kendall probably wanted to go weep. He set up the play earlier in the game, and it's the exact same formation. Virginia's in the exact same defense, and instead of the quick hitch, it's turn and go, and they got him by 40 yards, and James has already decided to go to the other side of the field in a tight window. It just doesn't it's difficult to watch, man.
I think that was the first noise Kendall made when he woke up on Sunday.
Yeah. Damn.
That did happen.
A lot of points being left out there at this point. But what I don't get is the shock and awe. The stunned nature of the fan base, like the crazy over-the-top reaction after every game. We're not good. This is all a referendum. It is okay to say this is a referendum. We're in the midst of the process. They're going to stack up. By the end of the year, you'll decide which category we're in. But everything's a referendum right now.
My brother, every Monday. Every Monday has to be a referendum.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's where we're at. But you don't act stunned when you're whatever you are in your last 30 games. I mean, we're sub 500. We lose more than we win and have for years.
And we find incredible ways.
What breaks my heart is that I can say that. We lose more than we win, and we have for years. We're in year 3 of it, year 3.5. I mean, Jimbo was 5-6 when he walked away.
Yep.
It's awful.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Of West Tennessee at Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605 must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank.
You're damn right.
Catch Jeff Corey and Ira each Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Your next haircut now has a shortcut. Introducing the Sport Clips Haircuts app. That's right, now the cut you want is just a tap away. Just download the app, check in at your neighborhood Sport Clips, and choose your Guy Smart stylist, and you're done. We'll text you when your stylist is almost ready. Then head to Sport Clips for a championship haircut experience. It's home field advantage for your hair. No appointment needed. Just download the Sport Clips app and check in. And don't forget a beard trim. Sport Clips. You choose the cut, we cut the weight.
Hardee's new Monster Roast Beef Sandwich is stacked with slow-cooked roast beef, slices of crispy applewood smoked bacon, all covered in layers of melted cheese. This tasty triple threat is kind of like an epic no-hands backflip on a wild Mustang while spearing a great white shark. How you got a wild horse out in the middle of the ocean isn't important. What's important is that the new Monster Roast Beef Combo with fries and a Dr. Pepper is only available at Hardee's.
Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
Cornerstone Tool and Fastener and Makita welcome back football season. And to kick it off, we are bringing the best deals of the year. Buy a brushless premium Makita 5-amp-hour kit, get an instant $50 gift rebate, and your choice of another bare tool free. Plus, we are adding in another 5-amp battery for free. That's 3 batteries and 3 tools. Check out our specials on cordless blowers, chainsaws, compressors, and so much more. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays 8 a.m. to noon. Online at ctf.nu.
Hi, welcome to this ad for new Subway sliders starting at $1.89 each. How do you want it?
Cheer Squad. Woo! Go Subway sliders starting at $1.89 each. Give me a $1.89 ham and jack slider.
$1.89 ham and jack slider.
Give me a $1.89 Italian spice slider.
$1.89 Italian spice slider.
What's that spell?
Doesn't really spell anything.
New Subway sliders starting at $1.89 each. Go Sliders!
Customization for flavored cheese and sauce at participating shops plus tax. Price higher on delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Pickens Tree Service has over 25 years of experience in cutting down trees and removing stumps in the Tallahassee area. While you may appreciate the beauty of foliage on your property, certain trees may pose a health risk to the owners. Pickens Tree Service will help you identify these potential issues and take preventative measures to remove the risk along with the tree. Just give them a call for a free estimate at 850-590-1833. That's 850-590-1833. Pickens Tree Service, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quincy, Crawfordville, and surrounding areas.
Not every law firm is the same. For example, you don't hire a divorce attorney to handle a foreclosure. The same goes for your insurance claim. Hire a firm that has the knowledge and experience in handling insurance matters. The Morgan Law Group is dedicated solely to this cause, fighting insurance claims that are underpaid, delayed, or denied. With offices throughout Florida, the Morgan Law Group covers claims for all hurricanes, storms, mold, fires, boats, and even sinkholes. Representing the policyholder, going after the insurance companies. The Morgan Law Group. Offices Miami, Orlando, Naples, and Panama City. Online at policyadvocate.com.
Not an employee or member of a law firm.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hendrick.
Don't miss the kickoff to savings at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. 2019 GMC Sierra 1500s up to $13,000 off. We are professional grade. DaleJr.GMC.com. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin chart. See dealer for details.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yeah, by the way, an eventful weekend in the National Football League with two Hall of Fame quarterbacks being lost for extended periods of time. In the case of Ben Roethlisberger, the season, he's done. Thought that, too, by the way. It reminded me of a baseball injury, a pitcher on the mound. That look that somebody gets, that scared, sort of pissed off, like, oh, no, we got real issues here. That burn in the elbow. Yeah, they all know it.
The report, too, was that the Steelers were aware of it during the week. So it was kind of coming.
Ready to snap.
Yep.
Well, it's like pitchers. They'll feel discomfort, and you'll hear them say, I think we're on borrowed time here. This thing's about to go. All you can do is let it ride. You're not going to go in and have the surgery before it. So it's got to be weird to throw a football or a baseball with the knowledge you might be suffering from immense pain in about a millisecond. And, okay, there it is. That is fire in my elbow. That's not good. Okay, we're done. That's the look he had on his face.
I'll bet he's relieved to a degree, though.
Funny you say that. I think he's ready to be done with football, and he's hinted at that numerous times.
Yes.
I actually believe, based on their performance in Week 1, albeit against New England, I picked, before I knew anything about Roethlisberger, I picked Seattle to go on the road to win that game. I think they would have. I think the Steelers were on their way with all of the problems they have on the sidelines, off the field, all this infighting that went on last year. Ben is kind of looking like a guy dropping off a cliff. He did last year, too. Looks like a guy that's just that career extension is not going to be there for him.
Right. And
he's taking a lot of hits.
Reminded in Week 1 that New England is still somehow New England.
Yeah. Worlds better than the Pittsburgh Steelers currently.
The team that they were 3 to 4 years before Ben even debuted in the league. And the team that they'll be 4 years after this injury to Ben Roethlisberger, apparently.
Yeah, it never ends. But the thing about that was, again, I thought they were on the cusp of having a disastrous season, and they were going to have to confront this new reality that they needed to move on, and that this was – now I actually think this sets them back in a terrible way because you can't judge the coach now. What are you going to do? He's got to go to his backup quarterback in Week 2. And
Well, they're 2 games behind Baltimore, man.
We already knew Tomlin's situation, but it's kind of like you're like, oh, now what do we do? Now you can't fire a guy when he's had to go to his backup in his second week. You could. You maybe should have last year. But you're in a situation, and Ben doesn't sound like a guy that wants to play football. He's like, oh, I get paid either way. I'm going to make a ton of money. I get to sit out, no beating on my body here for the next 14 weeks. This is a good deal. He would never admit to that. But I think you're right. I thought it when I saw the injury. I'm like, it's not that bad an injury. You're not blowing your knee out. You can walk around. You can get around. You're not blowing your ankle. Your foot's not shattered. Walk around. Go enjoy yourself. Take it to the music store.
Tell everybody that you're hurt because you love doing that your whole career anyway.
What do you want me to do? My elbow blew out. I can't play. Got to collect my checks and go to the movies and take
Ben, can you help
vacations.
out our quarterback's room? I can't do it.
Can't do it.
My arm's hurt.
The pain's too much. So, that's what you got with that. And I think, again, they were on the cusp of having that kind of a season anyhow. At Jay Cameron Show, I agree with your assessment in the past of Lamar Jackson, but realistically, how many games until he changes your mind? Would it be a whole season? 7 games? Would that be sufficient? Let's keep in mind who Baltimore's beaten in the first 2 weeks. I think Arizona's going to be one of the worst teams in football this year, and we know the Dolphins are. So
they go Chiefs, Browns, Steelers, Bengals. I mean, they could be 4-2 after this next quadrant of games. Then it's on the road at Seattle, and they host the Patriots after that. So
it gets real then.
Look at the 6-pack, and you say if they do 3-3 over the next 6, they do quite well.
Yeah, but I guess to be a believer, I need to see what those numbers look like in those 6 games. I need to see how they're winning. I know that they're winning right now because they're playing terrible teams. That helps.
Schedule isn't all that inspiring. They could go to the playoffs again this year. I think they might very well do so unless Cleveland gets its act together.
Yeah, tonight is not a must-win for Cleveland, but you go 0-2, and the show begins, baby. There you go. That's what you want to see. Upheaval. Coach in over his head. Probably should have had the job anyhow. Dynamic personalities.
The Chiefs will destroy him next week, though.
Yeah. Did you see the throw? It didn't count. Did you see the crossbody throw? Mahomes?
I think so.
It ended up being a penalty, but he threw it between 2 guys across his body.
The first half?
Rolling to his right. I don't remember. I just saw the highlight. I just was in awe of the throw. It's dumb. It's another one of those lasers when you shouldn't be able to throw a laser. It's just like, what are we doing?
Oakland jumped out to a 10-0 lead, though.
Yeah.
Gruden will get you started.
He will jumpstart
He's the best starter in automotive history.
I will get this mower started. We are mowing this lawn today.
He's got the rip movement down.
Yeah. I told you. Yeah, he's got it.
He's like the best home plate umpire in the world.
He's got He gets that thing started, doesn't he? Yeah, as far as the league goes, this was not a great weekend for the NFL. I thought, you and I talked earlier. I thought it was a bad weekend for the NFL.
Yeah, I watched the entirety of Vikings-Packers, and that set my life back a week or two, I think.
Some bad decisions, some poor football in that game.
Ooh, oh, my God. The Kirk Cousins pick
is an all-timer.
There were the 2 that he threw. One was on a 3rd and long, and you just knew nothing good was about to happen. That's how bad. I think he started 7 of 15 for the game, or 5 of 17. It was one of the 2. And then that pick, they ran the ball down the field. They got whatever they wanted, whenever they want. After 21-0, this game is completely on. The crowd's out of it. They feel like they lost the game. Both teams did. Minnesota lost the game more than Green Bay did. That's the NFL way too often, and it certainly was yesterday.
Complaining about it all the time. It's one of the reasons that people that want Jameis to dial back, not take chances, play really conservatively, it's one of the things that they point to and argue, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I hate it. I hate that you remove some of the playmaking ability of some of these quarterbacks, but if your quarterback has a penchant to turn the football over, I also understand the criticism. So it's weird. Now, he played after the first quarter in the game against Carolina. He played pretty well. That first quarter was not good. He did play well from that point forward. But he played very controlled, very safe. He should have had another touchdown because homeboy can't catch. But, two of them, you're right.
Out of nowhere, he's now thrown for 260 and 3 scores. And
it suddenly changes the dynamic. Yeah, but he didn't turn the ball over, and he was smart with the football, and so that was important, especially because Cam doesn't look like he can play anymore. I think he's about done.
Well, the number one thing I noticed in the pregame coverage, because I didn't really watch their Week 1 contest with LA. The NFL, it's funny. Like for college, I find great value in watching what teams do week in, week out before they come play Florida State. The NFL, Jekyll and Hyde.
No, it's a yo-yo league, man.
It really is.
It is.
The matchups are brutal. The travel. I mean, a game in LA is going to look completely different than a game in the Dome. New Orleans.
And you never know, too. Like, if a guy, it's really subtle, and this is where diving in, if you covered the NFL, would kind of be fun. You have to immerse yourself in individual matchups that make all the difference.
Yes.
So, not knowing that Larry Smith, the left guard for Cincinnati, is a big part of what they do because they pull him, and he's more athletic than most guards. And, by the way, I made Larry Smith up. I'm just saying, there's always a guy that is critical to their offense and how it runs and why. He's got a pulled quad. He's going to be able to give it a go, but it's a matchup nightmare this week because they're taking on, name your team that has a great defensive tackle or an inside presence, right? Some two-gap guy that's going to dominate the day. All of a sudden, you're like, that really is the difference in the game.
Right. Well, yeah, everything comes down to a split second. If you dialed into the third and fourth quarter of this game, our defensive backs are completely out of gas. They're completely out of gas. Cam missed a couple of wide-open throws down the field because
as he's wont to do.
We're not as talented there. Somebody's going to expose us over the course of the year, probably a few teams, but we might still survive it. But Bowles knows that, realizes that, and brings the house. And how many plays in that game? The split second. I mean, seriously, the 10th of a second makes all the difference. The fourth down play. We get pressure there. They forget to block I don't know how they forget to block Barrett.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't block him the whole game. They don't account for him. But if Cam has another 10th of a second, that's an easy first down, and you can't account for that when you're handicapping the game. That's why it's impossible to bet the league. But the first thing I did notice when the pregame coverage happened was Cam is rail thin compared to the way he used to be.
And for him, he's still gigantic.
Yes, but he's trim, which tells me, too. I mean, number one, they only ran him 3 times the week before. So I thought, well, I guess they're not going to run him anymore. We found that out. But two, his body doesn't look built for it like it used to be.
He's a guy that opted not to get surgery, has been a guy dealing with more hits than any other quarterback in the league over the last 5 years. We know that. His inability to throw the ball down the field allows defenses to come up. They've become very predictable, and he's not capable. I mean, he had a big arm when he first came in the league. He's not capable now of making you defend the whole field with any degree of consistency. So everything's shortened and more compact. They still almost won the game, but that's a situation where, honestly, if I'm a Carolina fan, I'm very concerned watching Cam, not just because his talents are dropping off or falling like flies, if you will. I mean, that ability to convert every third down and short because I'm 265 pounds of badass really is a game changer, and he can't do it anymore.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, if it's the first quarter and it's a 4th and inches and you want to give the ball to McCaffrey, he gets stuffed, you live with that. But, it's 4th and a foot. The game is on the line in the fourth quarter, and you call a trick play? If I'm a Panther fan, I go, well, we're screwed. We're screwed.
Yeah. And I think they were screwed when he couldn't throw it 20 yards downfield with any consistency. And now that they won't run him at all either, there's less and less for the defense to have to worry about.
If there is any situation he would run,
that would be it.
That's the one, and you can't do it. You try and trick your way into the end zone. You don't even give it up to McCaffrey up the middle.
And in that situation, by the way, in the past, even if you snuffed it out, he's just too big and too strong. You couldn't stop him. He's big, he's huge. You couldn't do anything with him. You were like, well, even if I meet him head on here, he's going to lean forward for a foot. He's a monster of an individual, and he's super strong. They've got real problems. He's looking like Thelma and Louise in the postgame.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone off the reservation. It's getting better and better.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, what are we doing here?
You could just hear Susan Sarandon, You're like,
Holding
Cam, your
hands.
thoughts on the final play. I thought they should have given me the ball so I could run up the middle.
I'm like, what are we doing here? This is getting better and better. How soon he's in full drag in the postgame? It's going to happen. And if that's him, but I just need to see it.
And Luke Kuechly really turned it on. 12 tackles in the second half. That led the league.
Oh, my goodness. That was good. By the way, can we revisit this real quick? Tom, I'm telling you, it's not a good situation in Miami. The tanking thing
easy cover, huh?
The tanking is not. This is not going to work out. And the Bucs should have asked yesterday. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
For Minkah, they're asking for a first. Would you do it?
Yes.
I'd give up a first next year and bet that we're going to continue to improve so that pick is going to be 15 to 20, maybe 25.
I'm calling, first of all, and giving him my second right out the door and maybe try to mix and match something to come together with something.
First next year. Invest in how good we think we're going to be now that we've got a competent staff.
I'm going to take Minkah Fitzpatrick off your hands, just like I would have taken your left tackle off your hands, too. I mean, we should have been making calls.
Yeah. We don't have the cap space, though. We got to send a player.
Figure it out. Do something. Get somebody out of here who can't play. They'll take them. They're not interested in winning. What the hell do they care? Let's go.
What is our worst contract? I'm trying to think.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
We've got a lot of decent-ish JPP. Would they take him? Would they just take him?
Yeah. At this point, they might.
Send him JPP.
You get JPP.
And a bag of fireworks.
He's got a broken neck.
There you go.
You got him, buddy. We'll take Minkah Fitzpatrick for JPP.
And a first.
And the Dolphins are like, yes, I'll do it. But 59 and 43 in back-to-back weeks. And they don't score a point this time around. They've scored 10. They've been outscored by over, oh my God. Come on, what are we doing here? You can't do this. You can't do this in the NFL.
Those games are going to be rivaled by Hurricanes games for who has more people attend.
I can't. I would never go to a Dolphins game if I was a fan down
Maybe
there. Maybe
a Marlins game. It'll rival a Marlins game for attendance.
I would never go. That is just a travesty.
Maybe a Panthers game. My God.
59 to 10 and 43 to nothing. You can't support that. Don't go give your money to that organization.
Nobody's going to any Miami sporting events. They're just not going to anymore.
Well, the Panthers, they got a chance.
They've got a good idea, but the location of that thing is a little remote.
I like that place. I've been to a couple Panthers games. It's all right.
They've got the right front office approach.
They're trying.
They're doing it correctly.
Yeah.
But, people still.
Yeah, it's not great. But they got the best chance to win, too. The rest of the Marlins and the Dolphins.
Who's got the best chance to win in Miami?
The Panthers.
It's the Panthers.
Oh, by far. It's not even close. It's not close. It's the Panthers, and it's a runaway. The Dolphins are telling you for all the world, we don't care to even compete a little bit. So they're done. And then you've got, obviously, the Marlins.
Win 60 games, if that.
Every year with them. So, yeah, it's the Panthers. Oof, tough times. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this. I thought I could handle it. We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at barronoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Are you starting a new business or expanding your business? Looking for the right general contractor to assist you with the tenant space build-out? Look no further. From restaurant to retail, we have the experience to work with you. At T-Spark Enterprises, we are ready to be a part of your vision and build a space that exceeds your expectations. Whether you're looking for design build or build from your own design, give us a call today for a free consultation. As the owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336. Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
I took a bit of a risk singing that song, but of course the one place I never take chances is the road, where Progressive Snapshot rewards your safe driving. A good driver plus Snapshot equals big discounts. And speaking of math, 1 + 1 = 2, little too late.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealership, and Nissan Truck Month is here. Sit in the cab of a Nissan and feel what you're missing, and we'll stand up to F-150 or Ram any day. Get 0% interest for 72 months on all Titans, plus Titan Midnight Edition package is free and up to $12,000 off MSRP. Yes, $12,000 off Titan, and the Nissan Frontier is $5,000 off. But hurry, these prices are only good during Truck Month, so come test drive one now. Or if you're looking for a high-end vehicle with low-end payments, visit our Infinity of Tallahassee store. The Kraft Brothers have special lease deals with Infinity. So listen to this. With just $39.95 down, QX50 for $385 a month, or QX60 for just $415 a month. Truck and SUV payments and savings you've come to expect from the Kraft Brothers dealerships. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or Infinity of Tallahassee on Capitol Circle Northeast next to Ted's Montana Grill. Payments plus tax for 39 months with approved credit through IFS or NMAC.
Kraft Brothers dealerships.
He's to the 20, the 10, the 5, and touchdown! Just as time expires. What a big score!
You too can score big with savings offered by the City of Tallahassee. With a free home energy audit from the city, you are sure to score some major points by identifying household energy needs. We'll come to your home at your convenience, examine your structure, and provide recommendations for energy and water-saving improvements. You can also take advantage of the city's Energy Star appliance rebates. This can help you receive up to $300 on appliances such as refrigerators, washing machines, and more. And don't forget to ask about budget billing. This free program gives you more predictable bills by averaging the amount you pay each month to help avoid spikes caused by seasonal changes. With so many savings, you're sure to be a winner. Visit talgov.com or call 850-891-4968. That's talgov.com or 850-891-4968 to learn more.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
As we get set to sign off for the evening, Front Row Knowles' first look is what approaches. That will be up next. And I should note, while that is great radio, you stay right here with us. We'll have the Monday Night Football game for you as well. Cool story before I get to probables, brought to you by Jerry's Cigars. Before I get there, I want to note that I missed a story while I was out of town. Had left for the flight to D.C. and we didn't get to do probables in a timely fashion, just way in advance. So I didn't see this story. But did you see the 112-year-old that went to the White Sox game?
I did not.
This
112?
112. This is really cool. I'll read from Sarah Lang's article, by the way. Sarah Lang.
She's Langs with a plural, right?
It is, yeah.
Buster Olney retweets every one of her tweets.
Is that right?
Well, she used to work for ESPN Stats and Info before she got the gig over at MLB.
Well, she writes a cool little cute, story here. So here you go. No better place to celebrate a birthday than a ballpark, even more so when it's your first ever visit. Listen to that. He had never been to a game.
That's incredible.
C.P. Crawford of Lansing, Illinois, did that on this past Thursday. It was his 112th birthday, and Crawford, who is a lifelong White Sox fan, had never been to a game. Andrew Holmes, who is the executive director of Club 100, which is a nonprofit group that focuses on people who are 100 years or older, learned of Crawford's fandom and the fact that he'd never seen his team play and decided certainly to make it happen. Crawford took a limo from his nursing home in Lansing to the game. The destination was kept a secret. The White Sox mapped out the day for Crawford from a custom jersey given to him by Harold Baines to a club-level seat and time on the field before the game during batting practice. The number of the jersey, 112. Crawford enjoyed a birthday party held for him in the Guaranteed Rate Club and even got a foul ball during the game from a nearby fan who handed it to him after catching it. How cool is that? Walked it over to him. Crawford was born in 1907, the White Sox 7th Major League season. The team had just won the 1906 World Series, defeating the Cubs in the Fall Classic. The Lansing Journal asked Crawford about the Cubs. He said, "They're pretty good, but I've always thought the White Sox were the best. Chicago's my lifelong home." How cool is that? That dude's seen some things.
But not a baseball game
How
with his
does
own eyes.
nobody get him to a baseball game, sir?
I've always thought the White Sox were the best. Well, really? You thought so much of them that you couldn't go to a game in 111 years?
Well, we don't know his situation. I mean, I don't know his means or anything like that, but
I think the White Sox are charging the same price right now for tickets that they did in 1907.
Somebody could have taken my man to a game is all I'm saying. If you got some loved ones, anybody that cares about you at all, somebody should have said, I was thinking about it. Uncle CP has never been to a game, and he's 74. We don't have to wait till you're 112. Somewhere in his 60s, somebody might have gone, that dude's never been to a game? Like if a guy I remotely care about had never been to a game and somebody said, that guy's never been to a game, lifelong baseball fan. Well, here, I'm going to buy him a ticket. Let's get your boy to a game.
Yeah, you know what? It's 1969. He's not getting any younger.
Let's get this
him
guy to a
ball
game.
He might not be around another year.
Well, not just that, my man. Yeah, he was really, 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 really old when they won the World Series not that long ago. Somebody could have got him to the ballpark for a championship campaign, right? Goodness gracious. Anyhow, they've done it now. He's seen it, and he's kind of spry. For 112, I know that you guys can't see this at home, but he's alert.
Oh, yeah.
He's alert. He's got his glasses on and his little uniform and his hat, and he was ready to go. Pretty good.
It'd be funny if that's how he looked 40 years ago. He's just looked the same since he was 72 years old.
Yeah, probably did. I love that look on his face like, you sons of bitches took long enough to get to me to the ballpark. I don't think he's resentful. That's about as good a smile as you're going to get there. Imagine that guy shaving with all that loose skin at 112.
It's an electric razor.
It's got to be.
Oh,
yeah. That's some point. All right, Jerry Cigar is sponsoring Probables as always. Fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Oh, Ms. Electric razors suck. I don't know. When I get to that stage, that's going to be bad. I'm not going to like that. I'm going to be mad. I like shaving.
Well, you do it because it's a comprehensive process.
Well,
you've got two different kinds.
Yeah, I have two different kinds. I have a shaver for my head, and then I have a nice razor for my face. But I'm a meticulous shaver. Down, up. I kind of have little ways I go. I get that little spot underneath your nose. Got to pull the skin down tight. Got to get after it. Got to do the right thing. If you're going to shave on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Or you can just go your route and not shave. But I'm saying when you do decide to shave, you got to keep up appearances.
I'm thankful I grew up in the hipster generation.
You can do it.
You can take some things from all different kinds of cultures.
Padres, Brewers, Garrett Richards goes for the Padres. Zach Davies goes for the Brewers. White Sox Twins, Ronaldo Lopez, Jose Berrios. What if the old guy CP became a problem? Like he liked the game so much and he knew they couldn't say no to him because it'd be bad PR. So he calls every day now. You got my tickets?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or if in that opportunity said, I hope they invite me back.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Jesus.
This has been a lifelong dream. I hope they bring me back.
They're like, well, we got to bring CP back in.
I've never been to an executive suite before.
Nats, Cardinals, Steven Strasburg, Dakota Hudson, Reds, Cubs, Kevin Gossman, Cole Hamels, Mets, Rockies, Steven Matz going for the Mets, Antonio Senzatella going for the Rockies. I have seen no baseball in 3 days.
Oh, really?
I don't know what the hell happened. I just now saw when I was reading through the overview for the week that the Phillies got swept over the weekend. So are they done?
They're done. We're pretty much done. Our bullpen blew it again last night. We're up 2-1 in the 8th. Lost the game 3-2. So that'll happen.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. I decided to. I willingly changed the channel from Eagles and Falcons, which was terrible for 3 quarters, to watch the 2-1 lead in the 8th inning with our bullpen pitching. And it wasn't Lugo to start. And I decided
I'm gonna sit here.
stayed on the
I'm
channel.
going to watch this.
If this is how we die, then we do it together.
Well, tonight, at least you get to watch St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Yes.
With your boy.
Yes.
Good times.
Thinking about the Bucks game on Sunday. Come on, Bucks.
Marlins, D-backs, Pablo Lopez, Robbie Ray, but of course, Royals, A's, Glenn Sparkman, and Tanner Roark.
Roark.
Yeah. And that's a look at those that shall reside on the book. Before Front Row Noel's first look comes up, James, amongst many others, sent in a question to Twitter, and it gives me a chance to readdress, again, some of my thoughts here as we've done most of the day. He writes, would this tough loss and the lemonade stand be the moment the FSU fan base and the team unite to get this thing turned around? He writes also, I think so. I see a few things that need to be changed. At least it's not a train wreck right now. Yeah, that attitude, by the way, James, was mine walking out of the stadium on Saturday night. I had a rather pleasant experience, save for the end of the game and the loss. I envisioned them getting absolutely whitewashed. I thought they would pack it in and lose by 3 touchdowns. And I saw some fight, and I saw some things cleaned up a little bit in the run game, certainly on defense. Saw a lot of undisciplined nonsense again, and saw a lot of false bravado again that I'd like to see end. But while there is a lot of work to do, and James is who he is as a quarterback, wildly inconsistent, leaves a lot of yards and points on the field because he doesn't know the system. I'm less harsh on him than some, if only because this is his 3rd offensive system in 3 years. That is difficult, and he's going to miss some things, but boy, howdy, does he miss some things. And I'm not just talking about throws like the one that he missed to Tamorrion Terry. By a lot, by the way. That's not even close, that throw. That's a throw you got to make if we're going to win football games. But he also missed stuff throughout the day. I can see it from sitting on high. I'm like, oh, that's really well schemed there, Kendall. Bet you wish your quarterback hit that one. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. I won't be surprised if during the course of the year he gets replaced at quarterback at some point. I don't know how much good it'll do because Hornibrook is limited as well. So, they've got some restrictions. But I guess to your point about are things better, if you sit guys that are problematic, and Willie said today that DJ Matthews was back at practice yesterday. All right, man. Okay. Listen, all I've heard about that kid since he's arrived is not good. Not good stuff. About his work ethic, his commitment to teammates and program. There are a lot of things that would disturb me about a guy like that having to be on my team, even though he's very talented. He's not the only one that we see get rolled back out there. A lot of that has to do with the APR. It adds to the predicament even further that a coaching staff who's trying to shift culture is encountering. This is all a big problem for us. I think you got to be careful with it, though. I don't think you give guys too many more chances here. I mean, that's got to be it, right? That has to be it. You have to see 100% dedication and commitment all the way through now, or else we're just going to have to take our chances and move on without you.
No, we've already passed that point, and they haven't stuck to it. I don't believe that for a second. That's one thing where I feel largely
yeah, I'm angry about it too, Tom.
Like the okay thing. It's not okay to lose football games at Florida State. Don't get me wrong. But they haven't quit as a team, which was really important. Everybody was watching for that this weekend.
I was watching very closely, and they definitely did not do that.
And I know a lot of the same talking points today. Well, how do they rally from this? Well, they've rallied from 2 of them already, 2 terrible performances, and they've gotten at least better from week 2 to week 3. I think they played a more complete game on Saturday, certainly than they did against ULM. I thought the offense was going to have a lot of room to make plays. After watching Virginia's defense against Pitt, they did. There was a lot more out there. It's frustrating.
Yeah, they left a lot on the field.
But when you're talking about are we going to sit players for prolonged periods of time because they haven't earned the right to be on the field? No, they don't do that. We don't do that here.
Well, we haven't done it in a long time. We didn't do it under Jimbo late, and we haven't done it under Willie now, and I think that's where Willie's gone wrong. But I also understand the APR is the APR. And so you do have problems here with discipline and what you can do about it. Sitting veteran players who aren't buying in is a good start. Now, if they want to drop out of school and they hurt your APR, then that's what they do. But that would really be foolish as well to be that far along towards your degree and to walk away from school. It's an ugly situation. What I will say, and I've said it, I've repeated it a lot, throughout the day, even at the beginning of this hour. I continue to marvel how people are shocked when we lose games. We've lost a lot of football games over the last 4 years. It's not stunning when we lose, especially not by a touchdown on the road against a ranked team. I don't think Virginia's very good. We have better players, but it's been a long time since we've played real well. against anybody.
No, think about all the winning plays that we don't make and they do make.
Oh, no, we don't make it. No.
Once we do, it'll be really notable. Once we make those winning plays.
Yeah, if we play smart, and we don't play heady.
Right.
We haven't played heady in a long time. We didn't play heady under Jimbo late. We haven't played heady under Willie.
And I'm not talking about the magic touchdown play, where it's like every play should be a touchdown.
No.
It's a 3rd and 6 throw to Trey McKitty. It's the shot over the top. It's defensively giving up a 4th and 2. I mean, you can enumerate 15 of them from this game.
Well, it's every game you can do that.
Right.
Though. It's,
right.
Yeah, it's really aggravating. I get the frustration. What I don't get is the shock and surprise after each game.
No, the number one lesson after this game for me is that James can be rattled by the moment. I don't think he was last week against ULM. When we're down in that game, I know it's ULM, but I mean, you still have to make a couple of tough throws to get us jump started to get down the field for Cam to score the eventual winning touchdown. And in those moments, I don't think he blinked. He blinked on Saturday, big time.
Oh, he blinked a lot, and it's surprising because Virginia didn't have much for us. It's Listen, let's let those guys take over here. Front Row Noles, first look is up next, followed by some Monday Night Football. Don't know how good a game that is. We picked a good night to go to a concert and miss Monday Night Football,
I
buddy.
believe that's correct.
I think it's going to be all
Yes.
right missing the Cleveland Jets game. I'm not going to sit around checking the phone to see what's going on with that one.
It could have been of moderate to mild
Sure.
interest.
Yeah.
Instead, it's
Of no interest.
of no interest.
Yeah. Good work out of you. Good work to Director Matthew as well, and to all of you who called and or listen. We appreciate it. Be back with you tomorrow. Be well. Have a good night.